Good evening, I'm Coy Taylor. We are tracking severe storms right now as part of our campus weather alert day coverage here for OU Nightly. Our team of meteorologists have been monitoring this situation very closely, and we are having a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of the Oklahoma City metro. You can see that right here, this yellow box that you see flashing. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning going until 7:30 this evening for large hail and damaging winds with this storm as it lifts north. It's going to go right over the airport and then eventually Yukon into the Bethany area and then up into North Oklahoma City. As you can see, basically taking a north-northeast track. We're also watching other storms as they start to isolate near Chickasha and even further south to just south of Chickasha, north of the Rush Springs area. This storm right here, you see Chickasha, it looks like it's developing a little bit of a hook, meaning rotation is there in that storm, and we will be watching that closely. But let's zoom into that severe warning storm for a second, and let's pop on a hail detector to see if we have any hail with this thing, and then eventually velocity mode here. No hail showing up on our hail detector just yet. If we can stop the radar frame so it doesn't move through, please, and then just pop on velocity mode to show where the winds are. We are seeing an enhanced area of wind there near the Mustang area, and this is again moving further off towards the north, so Yukon, Piedmont, eventually the Bethany area on the west sides of the Oklahoma City metro. This storm is going to be in your region here momentarily. Let's zoom south and look at the velocity signature on that one storm. Will we pop on reflectivity just for a second to just see where that hook is, and then go back to velocity real quick, and then eventually shear rate. There is a little area of rotation, but again, we're showing you the lower levels of the atmosphere with this velocity scan. So there might be rotation up in the atmosphere, but no imminent rotation on the ground. So not talking about a tornado potential with that storm at the current moment. We are picking up some shear on our shear rate. You can see a few areas of spin. Radar is picking up near Amber, Tuttle, in the Mustang area. So these storms are alive and well. We are going to continue to watch this. So if we pop back on reflectivity mode Hunter real quick and storm track this out, we'll put it into motion and then get a storm track for our viewers of when this could possibly impact Norman. Again, that one severe thunderstorm warning continues until 7:30, so the people on the west sides of the Oklahoma City metro need to be taking their precautions. So let's zoom up to that storm and put a storm track on it here and move it off towards the north and east at about, I'd say, 25 miles per hour. Yeah, that's a good track on that. Move that about 25 miles per hour off towards the north and east. So this is going to be moving into parts of the Oklahoma City metro. OCCC by about 7:09 p.m. We're going to be into more about 7:15 with the rain starting, and then eventually lightning and thunder with these storms as they move through. Eventually the downtown Oklahoma City at about 7:25. On the east sides, I'd say about 7:30ish for the Tinker Air Force Base, Midwest City area, and then eventually into parts of what would be eastern, Oklahoma County and northeastern parts of Cleveland County along the I-40 corridor as it moves further east into parts of eastern Oklahoma. So let's clear the what would be severe or the storm track, thank you, and then let's go and zoom into that storm near Mustang and see what we are seeing and see what areas are impacted. It looks like we are starting to see a little bit of a hail core develop. So let's zoom in right there where you see those areas of pink on radar. That's increased return from our radar when it goes out, and that could paint the possibility of hail. So just off towards the north and west of Mustang, south of I-40 between Mustang and Union City. Let's pop on velocity to see if we have any enhanced wind with this. We are seeing some wind where that hail is, so possibly upwards of, I'd say, maybe up to quarter-size hail with this storm as it continues to move north, and we are starting to see that wind enhance as that hail falls down. Let's zoom down the line with velocity mode. We're also watching other storms, a little bit area of rotation, not too much cause for concern there, just off towards the south and west of south and east, of Tuttle. And then as we go further down the line, can we pan it down just a tad bit? Some more areas of wind, but nothing too cause for concern. Can we go back to our metro view real quick, Hunter, please, and show that severe thunderstorm warning again continuing. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for our folks in northern Oklahoma. Let's go up to that Enid storm or storm south and east of Enid. And tornado warning coming for the Tuttle storm. Okay, so we will have a tornado warning. Do we know what counties are included in that tornado warning yet? Not yet. Okay, so we are waiting on that. Okay, so we have reports of a funnel cloud from the field. We're going to get a new tornado warning to pop on our map pretty soon from our National Weather Service partners in Norman. It's going to be for, it looks like, the west sides of the metro. Let's pop on velocity and shear rate real quick. I think it's going to be for this storm right here. Can we play to see how this has evolved? Put this into lapse mode pretty quickly. Yeah, it's starting to tighten up. It looks like it's heading due north. So if you are in Tuttle right now, let's zoom in on that. You need to be taking your tornado precautions there in northern Grady County, just south of Mustang in the Tuttle area. Again, we're waiting for that tornado warning from the National Weather Service, correct? To be issued here momentarily. And when we do, we will show you who's included and who needs to be taking their tornado precautions.
Now for Canadian, Grady counties until 7:30 p.m.
Okay, so the tornado warning for northern Grady and southern Canadian counties on the west side of the Oklahoma City metro near the Tuttle area for Mustang and Tuttle here as we go over the next 30 or so minutes. I think it is now around 7:01, so until 7:30 this evening. Here's that tornado warning. Can we stop it? Zoom in, show what towns are included with this, and it looks like it's tracking due north. So the community of Tuttle, if you live in and around Tuttle, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. That is a storm shelter if you have one. If you do not have one, that's totally fine. We will, you can get to the lowest level of your home, pack as many walls between you and the outside, get away from windows. So the most interior room, usually it's a hall closet, maybe a hallway or a bathroom that does, again, not have any windows. If you're in a manufactured home in that area, you need to get out of your manufactured home and seek a site-built structure. But again, the best place to be is in a storm shelter or a basement here as we go. And again, this is lifting off towards the north, so it's going to be headed to near the Mustang area. And then eventually, if it does hold together up on the west sides of the Oklahoma City metro, it's kind of in the southwest metro right now. So let's clear off the storm trucks, zoom in where that rotation is, and then pop on shear rate again near the community of Tuttle, just off towards the south by, I'd say, about 2 or 3 miles south of Tuttle, and you can see our shear rate product increase right there where that red is. That's indicating a stronger return of some shear in the atmosphere, which is just rotation in the atmosphere. So we are watching that again, just about 3 miles or so south and west of Tuttle. Can we put this into laps to show where it's going? Because it looks like it's lifting almost due north. Yeah, we see it tighten up and lift due north. So if you again are on the west sides of the Oklahoma City metro, south of Mustang and in the Tuttle area, if you live around Tuttle, can we zoom in and get some street names real quick for our viewers here? So if you live along Main Street in Tuttle, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, and even further south as we head towards County Road, I believe. Let me step off the screen to get those. County Road to 2920, County Road 1220 as well as Rabbit Road in that general area, again off towards the south of Tuttle by about 2 miles. We are tracking a report of a funnel cloud. Do not have any reports of it's touched down, but shear rate has increased here on your screen over the last couple of radar scans. You can see right in this general area, that's where we're watching. That red polygon is our tornado warning. That red area of shear on our legend is some moderate shear in the atmosphere. So we'll stop it and kind of zoom out. Bridge Creek is also included in this severe thunderstorm warning, but the area of rotation is just off towards your north and west. And again, on the south sides of Mustang, if you live along the Canadian River where Grady County meets southern Canadian County, you need to be taking your tornado precautions as well as we go. Do we have any, is our live shot up control room? Can we possibly take that behind me, pointing in that direction from our live shot from the parking garage? If not, that's totally okay. We will stay with radar. But whenever you guys are ready, please take that behind me to kind of get a view at that storm there on the west sides, almost due west of what would be Norman. So there you can see on the box on that side of your screen, our live shot from our campus parking garage at the stadium. We're zooming into about due west, looking at that storm. Not much seen from our vantage point, but spotters closer to the storm in the Tuttle area again have reported a funnel cloud. Have we got any more information, guys, from our National Weather Service partners about what that storm is doing, or any other areas that they're possibly watching?
They say it's still south of Tuttle, going north at 15 miles per hour, and they're reporting a rain-wrapped funnel.
Okay, so again, let's pop on. So let's zoom into that storm, that tornado warning that we have again until 7:30 for the community of Tuttle, southern Canadian and northern Grady counties on the southwest sides of the Oklahoma City metro. And you can see the area of rotation. Can we pop back on shear rate just real quick? So I can put my finger right there and then pop back on that reflectivity mode, Hunter, please. And you can see that area of rotation again in heavy rain. So you're not going to see this, even though it is still daylight out, you're not going to see this tornado. If it is on the ground, it's going to be rain wrapped, hard visibility. So if you are, again, in the community of Tuttle, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Lowest level of your house, basement is best if you have one, or a storm shelter. If you don't, that's okay. The best place you can be is in the most interior room in your house. So put as many walls between you and the outside, as well as get away from any windows. And if you are in a manufactured or a mobile home, you need to be seeking a site-built structure as we go here over the next couple of hours, next, I'd say 30 minutes, as this storm again continues to lift off towards the north at about 15 miles per hour. So let's pop on shear rate again real quick for me, please. And let's see that area of rotation still showing up again, tracking due north right now on the west sides of Tuttle. Let's zoom into that real quick. And Chloe and Peyton, if you guys have any new information that you're seeing to pass along, please do so at any moment. But here's that area of rotation again that we're watching about a mile south of Main Street or Highway 17, State Highway 17 on the east sides of Tuttle. It's tracking about due north. Could be on the western sides of town. Again, rain wrap, so you're not going to see it. So if you are in Tuttle, you need to be in your safe place right now as this storm again continues to track off towards the north, near the Canadian River here in moments, and then eventually near the Mustang vicinity, the south sides of Mustang included in this warning right now, this tornado warning. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions there. And then let's zoom out. I thought we saw another area of shear rate just south a little bit ago. That area of shear rate. Can we go to velocity and see what that one looks like? Yeah, another area of rotation developing. But let's go back to that Tuttle storm because that's really tightened up in the last few radar skins. So can we put that into loop real quick? That area right here, this velocity signature you see tightened up. The greens got closer to the reds. That's what I mean by tightening up. So the reds are headed away from the Oklahoma City radar site, which is on the east sides of Oklahoma City near Lake Stanley Draper. So they're headed, what?
Near Tuttle, moving north at 15.
Okay, this tornado is on the ground. So we have a confirmed tornado warning now for the west sides of Tuttle. It is just west by maybe half a mile on the city of Tuttle, but it is headed about due north. You can see, let's stop it and show the purple warning. That means it is now confirmed on the ground. So if you are in Tuttle right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions because this tornado is confirmed now and observed on the ground, moving north at about 15 miles per hour. It's getting ready to cross State Highway 17 just near, can we zoom in for a little bit more intersections and then circle that area of rotation, please, for me, Hunter. So it's going to cross State Highway 17 between County Road 2920 and Frisco Road as it moves north at about 15 miles per hour. And can we do a little storm track on that real quick for this storm? Take it off towards the north at about 15 miles per hour to see if we have any other community centers in that. That was no community center, so it's going to go over a rural portion of what would be northern Grady County once it moves north of State Highway 17 near Tuttle. But there, it looks like there's roads and driveways still there. So again, if you live on the west sides of Tuttle, in Tuttle right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Lowest level of your house, basement is best. Put as many walls between you and the outside and get away from any windows. If you have a storm shelter, that's a good place to go to, but you need to be enacting your tornado safety plan right now. And it looks like, can we clear all the stuff? It looks like it has weakened just a tad bit. We were watching that area a little bit stronger, but the reds and the greens have separated a little bit. But again, this was on the ground off towards the south and east of Tuttle, and then moving again on the east sides of Tuttle as it moves near State Highway 17. So that's what we will be continuing to watch. And I think here over the next couple of hours, if we'll zoom out, we're going to see areas pulse up and then weaken real quick, and then pulse up and then weaken real quick. So we're going to have to be on our toes watching radar here, as it looks like we have a few more areas of rotation with these storms. So I'm going to step on your screen. Again, a confirmed tornado warning continues until 7:30 for parts of northern Grady and southern Canadian counties near the community of Tuttle. So again, if you're in Tuttle, I've been saying it a lot, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. We're also watching these other storms as they continue to form and develop. It looks like the west sides of Oklahoma City are going to get the rain. They're eventually going to slowly make their way off towards the I-35 corridor here over the next couple of hours. So it looks like Norman will be impacted at some point by some heavy rain and storms, but right now that is not imminent. And we're also watching more storms, it looks like, go up between Chickasha and Lawton down in parts of southwest Oklahoma that we are continuing to watch. So let's go back to the Tuttle storm to get a live look at radar. Again, this is going to be possibly rain wrap, so you're not going to see it, but we have had confirmed reports from our National Weather Service partners that the tornado is on the ground. That's why it's showing in that purple box. Can we put on shear rate, excuse me there, Hunter, please. So we are continuing to watch that area of shear, again, on the east sides of Tuttle near State Highway 17 and Main Street as it rolls through Tuttle, about a mile or so west of, or mile so east, excuse me, of the community of Tuttle. And again, moving off towards the north, and it looks like it's cycling through, and that area has kind of dissipated. So hopefully it has lifted. Can we go to our debris detector correlation coefficient real quick to see if there was anything, and put that into motion real quick to see if we had anything pop up? And it looks like just some bad radar returns, no areas of blue showing up or purple that we would look for when we're looking for that debris signature. So you can put back on regular reflectivity. Zoom out for me, Hunter, please. And what's that storm? It looks like it's being cut off a little bit near Amber, so that shear is probably lessened. And then is that not the tornado warning, the severe thunderstorm warning, is that for hail and wind or just wind?
Hail and wind.
Okay. What size hail are we tracking with that northern storm, and what's the wind tag on that?
Let's see.
Why he's
1.5 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Okay, so quarter-size hail with this storm as it moves through Yukon just north. It's lifting off towards the Piedmont area, and the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds with that. We've had reports of a confirmed tornado on the ground just south of Tuttle. It has looked like it's weakened and lifted, but you still need to be taking your tornado precautions in Tuttle and on the south sides of Mustang
Sirens are
right
going
now.
back off in Tuttle now for a second time.
Okay, so they have resounded the sirens in the community of Tuttle. Again, this storm is headed up towards the Mustang area as it moves due north. We're starting, I think, to see a storm merger. So what has happened is that area of rotation spun up real quick, and then that storm, can we go back to reflectivity real quick? So you can see that one storm here, right there, is being cut off by the southern storm. So as they come together and merge, we could see an intensification when those updrafts come together and kind of combine together. We could see an intensification. So that is happening as we speak right now. Those updrafts are kind of moving together and converging on each other and combining. And then as that happens here over the next few minutes, we might see the storm start to pick up in intensity, and maybe a new area of rotation forms on the south side of this storm just near the Amber area. So that's what we're continuing to watch and monitor. But this, again, confirmed tornado warning continues until 7:30 for the community southern side of Mustang and near the Tuttle area. So you still need to be taking your tornado precautions in this area until this warning is allowed to expire by our National Weather Service partners. But again, we had a confirmed tornado on the ground. It looks like from our radar presentation that it has lifted, but you still need to be taking your tornado precautions here.
For Cleveland, Grady, and McLean counties until 7:45 p.m.
Okay, so we have a new tornado warning, I think, on that southern storm. Let's pop on shear rate as we're going to watch that. And so now Cleveland County is included with that. So you can see this area of shear starting to develop. Just like I said, these storms were merging. The one got cut off with the inflow from the southern storm, and now we have this new tornado warning. And let's zoom in to where this is included. So we're along the what would be Turnpike here as the I-40 goes down towards the Lawton area. So if you live in the Newcastle area, you're included with that. All of the city of Moore is included in that. So if you are in Moore, you need to be enacting your tornado safety plan at this hour. Let's zoom into Norman to show our viewers who in Norman is included. And it looks like from just looking at it, it looks like from what would be, I'd say, Rock Creek Road. So if you live west of I-35, north of Robinson Street in Norman, you need to be taking your tornado precautions because you're included in this new tornado warning. And then if you live north of Rock Creek Road on the east sides of Norman, east of I-35, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. So if you live around Max Westheimer Airport and points off towards the north and west, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Let's jump back to where the shear rate is showing up just off towards the south and west of Newcastle. And you can see that new area of shear starting to form right along the interstate. It's riding, it looks like due northeast, so it's going to be awfully close to the community of Newcastle. So if you live in Newcastle, north of Blanchard, we're I-40, let's zoom in on this intersection. I'm not too familiar with I-40, where it comes up with one of the turnpikes here. Can we zoom in really quickly so we can get those roads? So we have the Bailey Turnpike as it meets up with I-44, excuse me, and then that's where this area of rotation is headed as it rides up the I-44 corridor into parts of the South Metro near Newcastle and then eventually towards the Moore area. All need to be taking their tornado precautions because they're included with that. So we're watching this area. Again, it's moving right up I-44 near Bridge Creek or just off towards the south. So Bridge Creek needs to be taking their tornado precautions. Newcastle, the city of Moore, and if you live north and west of Max Westheimer Airport and University North Park on the north sides of Norman, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Just a review of what those tornado precautions are: a storm shelter if you have one, basement if you have one of those, if you don't have a storm shelter, if you don't have, yes?
An OU emergency alert just went out. Tornado warning in effect for OU Norman campus. Seek shelter now inside the building you are in. Move to lowest floor interior room.
Okay, but they have not issued a new tornado warning, correct? It's
No.
just the one for our northern sides of Norman. So North Campus here at Max Westheimer Airport, let's zoom in on that real quick. Hunter, can we bring that into frame to kind of explain to our viewers what is happening? So Max Westheimer Airport sits right here. Let's zoom in on the street view. This is our North Research Campus where our School of Aviation is housed at Max Westheimer Airport, and then University North Park, a shopping district here, is right here on your map. So that's what's part of campus included. The main campus and South Research Campus between 9 Highway and Boyd Street in Norman is not included in this tornado warning. So there's no need to panic in Norman, and there's no need to panic anywhere, but you do need to be taking your tornado precautions if you live on the northwest sides of Norman, again, north and west of Max Westheimer Airport and University North Park. If you live in the community of Moore, if you live in Bridge Creek and parts of Grady and McLean counties, and then the Newcastle area as well. So let's zoom out, show this big tornado warning. When does this expire? And we do have a new tornado warning just off towards the south. Okay, so we have three actually tornado warnings. An area again near Tuttle, lifting off towards Mustang. This other area of rotation off towards the north and west of Amber, getting ready to just pass south of Bridge Creek, getting ready in Newcastle. Then eventually, if it stays on its northeasterly track, going to be awfully close to the community of Moore. And then we have a new tornado warning for southern parts of Oklahoma, south of the Chickasha area near Alex, Oklahoma. That is also riding off towards the north and east. Going to be near Dibble and parts of central Grady County, southern Grady County, and then eventually into parts of central McLean County if this does continue. So this tornado warning continues until 7:45. What's the one for Norman continue until?
7:30.
7:30, and then this one also goes until 7:30, that confirmed tornado warning. So let's start with the confirmed and then work our way back down the line as we continue to manage all of these storms. But again, if you live in Moore, Newcastle, Bridge Creek, and northwest sides of Norman, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, storm shelter, or basement. If you don't have one of those, you need to be in a site-built structure in the most interior room. Get away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside, usually an interior hallway, possibly a closet, an interior closet under a stairwell, maybe a bathroom. But the key is to not have any windows there, and we are going to continue to watch and monitor that. And then we are watching this area of shear, again, just south of Mustang. So let's zoom in there real quick for me. And look at this northern area of shear with that confirmed tornado warning, and then pop on velocity just so I know what's going on. If it has tightened up, we're still watching, again, the areas of red and green next together. The red is headed away from the radar site, which is on the east sides of the Oklahoma City Metro. The green is headed towards, so you can see that counterclockwise circulation right in that general area. And then let's zoom south. That other area for this tornado warning that again continues to ride up I-44 just south of the Bridge Creek area. You can see red's headed away, green's headed towards, so we have that area of rotation right there. And then let's zoom out as that continues to trek off again towards Newcastle and more. You need to be taking your tornado precautions. And then let's zoom into the south storm and another area of rotation just there off towards the west of Alex, south of Chickasha. That area of rotation, green's headed towards the radar site, which is up in Oklahoma City this way, and red's headed away. So you can see that counterclockwise area of rotation. Let's take a statewide view right now. And Hunter, do we have any new information from the National Weather Service office in Norman?
They are reporting the Tuttle tornado is no more. Areas from Bridge Creek into Newcastle need to be taking shelter now. A new updraft right on top of Ninica. So the tornado warning will continue on that storm.
And it looks like we do have a few tornado warnings there in North Texas that we're continuing to watch and monitor, but we're keeping our eyes focused on the Oklahoma City metro. So let's start with that northern tornado warning. Let's pop back on reflectivity for our viewers. And then if we have campus cam control room or that live shot, as that storm kind of moves off towards the Moore area, we might be able to shoot back up off towards the west northwest with our cameras to see if we can get possibly eyes on that. As you can see, that would be the storm. Can we take that full for me, please? And so we're looking due west from the stadium parking garage, which is here near Gaylord College. And there is Dale Tower in the foreground right here. Dale Tower on the what would be foreground of the left-hand side of your screen, that building that sticks up that goes into the clouds. And then you can also see what would be the heavy rain with this storm. So let's zoom into campus real quick and let's show where our camera is for our viewers. So we're here at OU, that's right on the stadium. So it's shooting pretty much due west, maybe off towards the south and west. So if we zoom out for me, please, Hunter. And that's going to be looking right in the area of the storm that could be possibly rotating, again, just off towards the south and west of Newcastle along I-44 near the Bridge Creek area. And if it does ride up I-44, it will be headed in the vicinity of Moore. So again, Newcastle, Moore, if you live in those general areas, Bridge Creek, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. And on the northwest sides of Norman, again, north and west of Max Westheimer Airport in the Norman area and north and west of University North Park in Norman. So let's pop on velocity to see if we had anything tighten up. Again, we're still watching this area of velocity right here. Again, red's headed away from the radar site on the east sides of Oklahoma City. The green's headed towards, so we're watching that area of rotation right there, getting really close to where the Bailey Turnpike meets I-44 as it meanders down towards the Lawton region. And then eventually this is going to be tracking right up I-34, so near Newcastle, and then eventually on the south to central sides of Moore if it does hold together. This tornado warning again continues until 7:30. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. And then we have a tornado warning continuing until 7:45 for that southern storm south of Chickasha, which would be, if it is moving, can we put that into motion real quick just so I can see where we're looking for that? So it looks like a little area of spin, and then it looks like it's weakened just slightly, which is good news, but it is moving generally east, northeast, so it would be parts of central McLean County here as we go here over the next hour or so if that storm does hold together. So let's pop back on reflectivity real quick for our viewers and kind of walk them through what's happening. This situation is playing out, I don't think like we thought it would this morning, but we still do have tornado warnings. So again, Moore, Newcastle, Bridge Creek, down towards the Alex area there in parts of Grady County, parts of Cleveland County, northern, very northeastern McLean County. You need to be taking your tornado precautions. The lowest level of your house basement is best if you have one, or a storm shelter if you don't have a storm shelter, or anything like that. The most interior room, pack as many walls between you and the outside. And I think what we're going to be battling here over the next couple of minutes, we are going to watch these storms kind of cycle up and then cycle down, and then we're going to watch it as it goes. So control room, if we have that live shot, I would love for us to take that and look at that storm if that is at all possible, or campus cam. Yes, can we do campus cam please for us real quick? And we will get that here in a moment for you guys. Can we take that full actually please and get that? Okay, sirens on campus going off right now, but we don't need to be taking tornado precautions on campus because that area of rotation is just off towards the north of campus in northwest sides of Norman as it moves into the sides of Moore and near Newcastle as it goes here over the next couple of hours. So I'm going to pass it over to OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo, who's getting ready to walk us through what's currently happening. Again, we're watching a couple tornado warnings on the board. Chloe?
Yes, that's right. If we could take a look back over to reflectivity, full screen on that, please. That would actually be fantastic. Once again, we've got three active tornado warnings as it stands in the metro, one extending into Cleveland County. If we could zoom into that and have a full screen of our radar, thank you so much. We have a severe thunderstorm warning right now going into the Village and Edmond up here, but what we're really looking out for are these three tornado warnings, one of which has a confirmed tornado with it. It has since lifted and kind of dissipated in Tuttle, but that's what we're looking for is this tornado warning right here. Hunter, real quick, if we can go ahead and zoom into this tornado warning that's extending into Cleveland County. If we can zoom in right over by Newcastle. So here is what we're looking at with this tornado. It's not an active or a confirmed tornado quite yet. It's just rotation, and we're seeing that begin to drop just a hair. But what we're really concerned about this with is that it's rain wrapped. And when it's rain wrapped, you can't see outdoors. So a lot of times, although we don't advise it, Oklahomans tend to go outside to look at tornadoes. But what you're going to want to do is stay inside because especially you can't see anything. And that will be even more of a motivation to stay indoors because that could creep up on you at any given moment. So when it's rain wrapped, visibility is low or at a zero at that point. Let's zoom in a little bit more, actually over by this I-44 icon right here. You can see that curve down here. There we go. Yes, perfect. So we can see it start to hook. That's what we call a hook feature or a hook echo on radar. That's when you start to see that rotation. If we can switch over to velocity right here and see what's going on. Yep, we can see that. We can see the reds, which is going away from the radar, and the greens going towards the radar site. And when you have those winds in those different directions, it's usually pretty indicative of rotating storms. So you can see that rotation is pretty prominent right here, and you can even see it curve and begin into what I like to translate into as one of those yin yang signs. You can start to see those storms begin to rotate with that, with the reds pushing away once again and the greens going forward towards the radar site. So let's actually go a little further south towards this tornado warning down here, a little further south towards that rotation. Let's go down here. Perfect. Yeah, so it's thankfully a little less organized. So luckily when we see the less organization on that velocity, that's when we're going to see a little bit less rotation, a little less organization, which is really good in terms of rotation. But Hunter and Peyton, do we have any updates as of right now, or is everything good right now?
We do have finals happening on campus right now, and students are sheltering in those areas. However, we want to stress that campus itself is not in that tornado warning. It is for Northwest Campus by Robinson at Max Westheimer Airport and parts of Cleveland County up near Moore, north of Rock Creek Road. So yes, even though the sirens on campus are going off, that does not mean the OU campus specifically is in that warning. Just Cleveland County itself is in that warning.
Yes.
And that warning will go until 7:45.
Yes, until 7:45. So
About
that's what you
21
guys that's what we're all going to want to make sure that we're cognizant of. Let's actually have a look at our OU campus on radar, if we can do that. So once again, this is what we want to point out. You can see this line right here. That's where that tornado warning is. It's just right past the airport over by that shopping center over here, over by the Target and the crest off of 24th Street in Robinson. So that's where it cuts off. So mind you, the tornado sirens are going off, or as of a few moments ago, they were going off on campus. And just as Peyton mentioned, during finals, a lot of people are taking shelter as of right now on campus. So here's campus right now, nothing really going on as it stands, but those storms are beginning to fire up off to our west. And that's where our tornado warning is. So though we are not in the tornado warning right now, that's where you're going to want to make sure you're staying cautious and staying in that furthest interior room of your home or the building that you are in. Stay on the first level, if not below ground, when you're in a tornado warning like this. So OU, very smart for being in their shelter as it stands right now. So let's take a little bit of a wider look at this storm. Once again, let's look at this hook feature over here. Once again, you can still see it kind of begin to rotate right here. Let's take it off loop and actually pause it for a second. Thank you so much. So you can see it kind of hooking right here and beginning to rotate. And that's been the case for quite a while. This storm began around the Amber region and then has since moved, and it's actually moving into Newcastle. So if possible, can we get a storm track to see the timeline on these towns? We'll get to see how long they will have before any type of storms begin to form in their area. Okay, so Newcastle, 7:44 p.m. That is when you're going to be starting to see this area of rotation. So you're going to want to get into your shelter now. You're going to want to get into your shelter as soon as you possibly can. More 8:07 p.m. More high school 8:08 p.m. So these are just a general range, but a good time frame of when you could expect to see these storms. These radars are relatively accurate with these time frames. So get into your shelters now, especially if you're in this red polygon as quickly as you possibly can. Let's take a look at, so Tinker Air Force Base, 8:27 p.m. So a little bit later, but once again, get into your shelter right now. You're under this tornado warning right now. Let's take a look at our storm further south once again. Let's see any updates on this. Okay, so we're still seeing a little bit of rotation with this as well. Let's take a look at our shear rate with this one, if we can do that if possible. Thank you so much. Okay, and if we can play it on a loop, this is awesome. So it's a little bit better than what we saw before, which is great. So this is what we like to see when it starts to dissipate a little bit. But once again, as we talked about earlier, these storms are known for dissipating and then strengthening back up and back and forth and on and on. So it's kind of a roller coaster of effect. So that's really important to mention. Oh, let's zoom into this one heading towards Newcastle. Hunter, this is not a confirmed tornado, is it?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you so much. Just really strong rotation right over here. You can really see that rotation within that shear rate. So winds are very strong with this storm system heading right towards Newcastle. So if you are in the Newcastle area, get into your shelter now. Get into the furthest interior room of your home. Stay on the first floor, if not in the basement. So make sure you're taking those precautionary measures as much as you possibly can. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. Prepare to shelter in an interior room. Stay away from those windows. Go to the lowest floor of your house and, oh my goodness, stay off of those roads, because that isn't where you're not going to want to be. Mobile homes, cars, all of that sort. You're just not going to want to be in that area. So be in a permanent building with a strong foundation. That'll be really important. Let's zoom into.
They are reporting that the tornado warning imminent just southeast of Bridge Creek is turning a little bit more to the right, so that would bring it more towards Norman.
Okay, let's go back to the Bridge Creek rotation. Thank you so much. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we are seeing a lot of our shear rate with this. Let's zoom into the street view with this. Thank you very much. So this is about to cross, I'm so sorry, I do not have my glasses with me, North Council Road, Southwest 16th Street right here, State Highway 130. So these roads, Fox Lane over here, County Line Road. So if you are familiar with these roads or near these roads, these are coming towards your area, or this area of rotation coming towards your area right now. Southwest 24th Street, you are in the zone, in the area where this tornado or this rotation, potential tornado, is not confirmed by any means, but it is an area of some strong rotation, and that is headed towards your area. Get in your shelter right now. That's what you're going to want to make sure you're doing in Newcastle. So for all those Newcastle folks, I'll step out of the area. Fox Lane, once again, East Fox Lane, you're going to want to make sure that if you are in this area, seek shelter immediately. Let's zoom out and go back to reflectivity if we can. Let's take a look at these storms. So once again, there's a lot of green, so a lot of rain with this storm. So therefore, pretty rain wrapped. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, when you have a storm or a tornado that is rain wrapped, the visibility is very low to nothing. So you really can't see it outdoors. So that's what makes it even more dangerous. So if you are outdoors, please be inside during this tornado or this tornado event or potential to become a tornado, because you want to make sure that you are avoiding that, because with the low visibility and the inability to see what's going on outside, sometimes it just looks like rain outdoors and there could be a tornado wrapped within that, and that's what makes it even more dangerous. So once again, stay indoors with this tornado. Let's take a look. Did the tornado warning below further south? Okay, no, that's still going strong. So if you are over in the Alex area, zooming in a little further, let's take a look at this. Looks like the hook feature kind of dissipated just a little bit, which is a good sign. Let's take a look at velocity over here. Okay. So this is looking good. We can still see a little bit right here between these two colors right here. Once again, the red going away and the green going towards, which is usually indicative of rotation. However, this is a good sign because it's very little rotation. Let's go ahead and loop this and see if we can see any motion with that. Okay, you can actually see a little further down south as it begins. You can see that it started out a lot stronger than it was before. Or a lot stronger than it is now, excuse me. So the rotation on this has weakened significantly based on the radar, which is really, really great and what we love to see with this. So, but that tornado warning still persists. So if you are in this polygon, please take your tornado precautions with this. I'll go ahead and step out of the way super quick so you can see this entire region. Make sure that you are taking your tornado precautions with this storm. Let's go back to reflectivity and head a little further north. We haven't checked on that Guthrie storm in quite some time, or over by Edmond. Let's zoom in a little bit by Edmond. So thankfully that severe thunderstorm warning has since expired. Edmond is seeing a couple of thunder boomers with that, but some strong storms, but nothing severe, thankfully. Oklahoma City getting a lot of rain. Let's zoom into the OKC Metro right now. So nothing severe, but a lot of rain going on with that. Now, the biggest thing that we have to worry about is this tornado warning here in Newcastle and in Moore. This extends into Cleveland County. So once again, if you are on the OU campus or just north and west of the OU campus, that's where you're going to want to be taking shelter, especially if you are in this polygon right here. Let's zoom into this track to see where this curve is, where this rotation is. It's looking like it's continuing to persist. Newcastle in the path of this once again. So Newcastle folks, if you are not in your shelter already, you're going to want to go ahead and do so. Newcastle, 752. It is currently 7:37 right now. So 7:52. Got about 10 to 15 minutes before this arrives to your doorstep. So a lot of rotation with this, very strong rotation. Moore, 826. South Moore High School, 817. Moore High School.
We've got a brand new tornado warning
Now for Cleveland, Grady, and McLean counties until 8:15. This is the same storm you're looking at right now. Confirmed tornado.
Oh,
excuse me.
You can hear the emergency alerts going off right
Severe
now.
thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Bridge Creek, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So the storm is slowing down a bit.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's zoom into OU campus right now. This includes, you heard just as Hunter was speaking. Okay, perfect. Just as OU campus was earlier, they are now in that tornado warning. Now we have one of our OU Nightly reporters, Victoria Anderson, outdoors, and she is giving us the latest report. Victoria, what are you seeing?
Yes, I'm at the Ask parking garage, and the sirens are going off right now. But moments ago, when the sirens went off for the first time, students and faculty were still walking around campus, coming to and from those last final day activities, but also some graduation ceremonies going on. The parking garage is not completely full yet, but the 6th floor is completely empty as people have moved their cars to lower levels in case of any hail events tonight. Now, the parking garage is moving in and out as people are coming and going to activities tonight. So if you are having activities tonight, have a safety plan in place. Sorry, the emergency alert is going off. But if you, like I said, if you do have an event plan tonight, make sure to have a safety plan as our meteorology team has mentioned. Victoria Anderson, OU Nightly.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I really appreciate it. As you could tell, as she was speaking, the emergency alerts were going off on our phone. That's because OU campus is included in this tornado warning. So you can see Lindsay Street right here. You are included in this. Boyd Avenue, 24th Street, you are also included in this. This also extends upwards towards Main Street. So downtown Norman is included in this. You can see the Sooner Mall is included in this polygon right here. You can also see Porter Avenue. So if you are on campus or even north of campus, south portions of campus like the Lloyd Noble Center and the National Weather Service are not included in this tornado warning, but they are so close that if you're in that region, you're also going to want to take your precautionary measures with this as well. So once again, I cannot stress this enough. You are under a tornado warning with this storm system. You can see, let's look a little further west with this rotation. So this area of rotation right here, but I do believe, let's take a look a little further down here at the velocity. See what's going on with this storm down here. So here's our main area of rotation. Once again, the red is going away from the radar. Green is going towards the radar. So those are wind speeds, those are velocities going in a circular motion. I cannot stress this enough. You can start to see that rotation right there become more and more organized and a little bit stronger here and there. I'm going to step out of the way real quick just to get a good glimpse of this tornado warning. Let's take a look at our reflectivity radar if possible. Okay, thank you so much. So here is our overall picture. This is our area of concern as it stands. Newcastle, Norman North High School, and even now Norman is extended within these two tornado warnings with this area of rotation. Take your precautionary measures now. Go into the furthest interior room of your home. Stay on the first ground floor and in the basement if possible, but if not, first floor will definitely do. Here are your actions to take. Once again, prepare to shelter in interior rooms away from windows. Lowest floor of your house possible. My goodness, stay off the roads. If you're driving, pull over to the nearest building and go indoors as quickly as you possibly can. This is imperative to do if you are in the Norman region or further north. Let's go back to our radar real quick. Awesome. Okay, here's our shear rate. This is getting even more strong or even more significant than before. You can see it's becoming a little bit more circular with that shear rate. So we've got some stronger, and here is our legend up here. So we're in that red zone. So that's pretty significant for our shear rate for this area of rotation. Going towards Newcastle once again, let's take a storm track, and I'll go ahead and step out of the way super quick to get a look at that storm track. You can see that area of rotation. Oh, that area of rotation. Excuse me, let's look at this real quick. Okay, Newcastle, 7:48 p.m. Sooner Mall, 8:01 p.m. Norman High School, 8:07. So Southmore High School, you're also at 8:14 p.m. And get ready, Franklin, you're at 8:32 p.m. So here are your storm tracks for this area of rotation. I cannot stress enough. Get into your interior shelter as quickly as you possibly can. Take a look at your tornado precautions and quickly get into them as quickly as possible. Let's take a reflectivity look at our Norman campus one more time. So we can see that it's clear right now, and that'll actually be pretty evident in our campus cam. If that's a possibility of control room, if we can go ahead and see our campus cam to see what's going on outdoors, to see if we can get a look at what's going on, because it should be clear right now, but that's going to change in the next couple minutes. Let's take a full screen of that actually. Thank you so much. All right, so it's actually very clear outside. Or excuse me, very cloudy, very calm outside. And that is usually what we see with any type of storm system like this right before it heads into your region. that's when we begin to see the clear, or what you like to call the calm before the storm, right? So with this storm system, it's about to enter into the Norman region. So if you're on campus in Norman, that's where you're going to want to hit the, that's where you're going to go into your tornado precautions. You're taking shelter immediately. Earlier, Peyton Gallion mentioned that we have students on campus who were taking finals, and now they are in their storm shelter on campus. So let's take a look at our reflectivity radar once again, and I will have OU Nightly meteorologist Peyton Gallion take over with the latest information on this radar. Peyton, what do you have?
Yes, you can see that warning does now include the Norman campus just north of Riverwind Casino, going north onto I-35 from Riverwind up into Moore. And like we said, if you are on the roads, you want to go ahead and get off the roads. But what a lot of people do that you should not do is stop under an overpass. Do not pull over on the side of the road under an overpass. Get to the best, quickest building you can find for your shelter. We have warnings all the way from Riverwind up to OCCC, Southmore High School. The Norman campus is included in this warning. So let's go back down to the Norman campus really quick, Hunter. Thank you. So you can see that Lindsay Street from I-35 all the way to Classen is in that warning. Now the Lloyd Noble Center is not in that warning. The dorms do not look to be in that warning. However, much of students are on campus. 7:30 finals are taking place, especially at Nielsen Hall. Students are sheltering, and this warning stretches up through Main Street, up to Max Westheimer Airport. A lot of parents are in town for graduation ceremonies this weekend. A lot of people probably flew in, and this is an area where we have a lot of hotels in the city of Norman. A lot of hotels really don't have tornado shelters, so we need to make sure those people are getting this information as well. Get to the lowest level, most interior room of the building you are currently in. This stretches up 12th Avenue, up into Moore, off Indian Hills Road, into Belmar Golf Club. We need to make sure we are inside. We can see going up to Flood Avenue. Let's zoom out real quick, Hunter.
And Peyton, we also have a brand new tornado warning, an observed tornado for Grady County until 8:30.
All right, so we are extending this tornado warning as well. And again, this stretches up into Lake Stanley Draper. This is a huge area. A lot of population of people live in this area. Again, from Norman all the way up to I-240. This is a huge metropolitan area, huge suburbs. And I believe we do have video from the Bridge Creek area control room, if we can go ahead and take that if possible. Okay, we're working on that real quick. We'll come back to that, but you can just see these line of storms that are pushing through the entire central Oklahoma. All right, so here is that video from Bridge Creek. Is this a confirmed tornado on the ground? Do we know? I do not know if this is confirmed. This is from one of our OU. Okay, it's unknown. We do not know, but that is just confirmed video. Is this another confirmed tornado down near Rush Springs?
Observed near Rush Springs,
okay, this
moving
is
northeast at 10.
Okay, so once again, we would just want to stress that this entire line of storms is moving northeast, and you can see Norman is quite in that bullseye. Remember, all day we have been talking about it. This is a weather alert day, and all these cells are going to continue to move up to the Norman area. We saw they started out near Chickasha and down near Lawton and continued to move to the northeast around 30 miles an hour. So we had an observed tornado in Tuttle that was confirmed on the ground. The cell is continuing to move northeast into Norman and more. Down near Chickasha and Ninnekah, those storms are continuing to move northeast. And once again, down near Rush Springs, the storms are continuing to move northeast. So this isn't a one and done kind of deal. This is going to last for the next hour or so through the South OKC metro. I know a lot of the metro was included earlier today. If we can go back up near Guthrie, we did have a severe thunderstorm warning with that cell earlier. Yes, it seems like Crescent is still having cells be developed. Do we have a hail threat with this, Hunter? Do you know? Okay, no hail detected on radar right now. Any hail detected down near our area that we can see? No. Okay,
Not
so
currently, but the National Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning for Cleveland and McLean counties. They are now confirming a tornado near Newcastle moving northeast at 20.
Okay, so it's confirmed tornado near Newcastle moving within this cell, and we are going to extend this tornado warning for a little bit longer. Earlier was going to expire at 7:45. We're just going to stay on it, and you can see how it's just starting to strengthen and continue to develop right near Newcastle. So this is where we can see how that storm is developing, and right along the river, it's going to cross the river very soon. So remember, Newcastle, you need to be in your shelter. Norman, you need to be in your shelter. Moore, you need to be in your shelter. We do not mess around with this time of year. May is the most important month for severe weather in the state of Oklahoma. It is when we have a lot of storms begin to intensify. So you can see down from Lindsay up into nearly I-240, you are in a tornado warning. This is not a joke. This is something we need to take serious. You need to get to the lowest level, most interior room of your home to take that shelter. So we can see Max Westheimer Airport up to Southmore High School, and we can just see how large of an area of rotation this is. Again, Riverwind Casino, it does not look like you are in that warning, but we're going to put that track on, and it looks like Sooner Mall 8:02. This is when it's going to get to you. Again, get in your shelter. Max Westheimer Airport 8:07, Southmore High School 8:08, Clothier 8:27, the small town of Franklin 8:36. I know it is a very small rural area. However, get to the lowest level, most interior room of your home. You can just see how the area continues to broad with how strong of rotation it is. Hunter, if we can go to velocity to see if we have anything there. Okay, so we can see that the green winds are winds coming towards the radar. The red are going away, so you can just continue to see that circular motion of the forming storm we have. And do we have any shear picking up? Yes, going back to our shear, you can see it's kind of starting to separate. And do we still have no hail indicated? Okay, no hail. Hail was also a large threat for today. However, we haven't seen any being radar indicated. That doesn't mean some has fallen. Small sizes. Do we have some?
Of observed 1-inch hail with this
Okay.
tornado warning.
All right, so 1-inch hail, that is severe hail. You need to make sure that you are in your shelter, along with be prepared for hail damages, busted out windows, car windshields. That is a possibility. So let's go back to the Norman campus if we can really quick. So again, Lindsay Street and North, you need to be in that shelter. We can hear the sirens going off the past few minutes here in the studio. A lot of students, once again, are on campus taking those finals. And right now there is nothing on the radar here, but you can start to see that rain moving into the area. And this is going to be a lot of rain coming. We can have the possibility of hail, very strong winds just by indicating these darker colors, the pinks, the purple looking areas, the red that is very strong. All right, so we do have video of a walk cloud near Newcastle. If we can go ahead and take that control room. Once again, that is the area of rotation we are watching. So you can just see how low it is to the ground. And so we're going to continue to watch this one area, but you can just see the wispiness of the clouds. You can visually see the clouds rotating. And so once again, that is the cell that is continuing to move into Cleveland County, the Norman campus, up by Max Westheimer Airport, into the Moore area. Once again, multiple times this year, the OU campus has been in tornado warnings, so students should know what to do with severe weather. There are multiple resources and shelters on campus available to students right now as the storm continues to move, and we can still continue to watch the circulation of those different colored winds going away from the radar and coming towards the radar to create that circular motion we are watching for. So let's take a look at a broad view once again of all the reflectivity we have on radar, Hunter. So yes, pretty much south of Oklahoma City, that is where you need to be prepared tonight. We can see that the severe thunderstorm warning near the Guthrie area has expired, but this, once again, this is an observed tornado north of Marlow, south of Chickasha, west of the town Lindsay, and we can also see some pop-up showers start to move into the Pauls Valley and Wynnewood area. Right now, these aren't warned, but something we definitely need to watch as these are kind of branching out against the line. And going to that shear rate, we can see in this severe thunderstorm, we have a little bit of shear right here detected, and in that observed tornado, we can see a little bit of shear just north of Rush Springs as well. So going back to this cell that is tornado warned, going into the city of Norman, we can see just how strong that shear is as it continues to move into the area. So I'm going to step away for a minute and just take a look at a storm track coming into the area, if that is possible. So once again, get to the lowest level, most interior room of your home. If you don't have a tornado shelter, sooner Mall, in the next 10 minutes, it's going to be right on your doorstep. And I cannot stress this enough. Lowest level, most interior room of your home, away from windows if you do not have a storm shelter. And stay off the roads. This is not the time to be going to get dinner or anything. You need to stay in your home. And this isn't just now. This is going to be for the rest of the night as we have more storms coming into the area. And this stretches down from Norman up to Lake Stanley Draper in the next 30 minutes if possible. And so once again, I'm going to come back here. The Norman campus, north of Lindsay Street, that is where we have the tornado warning. And control room, is it possible to take another look at that campus cam as storms start to move in to the city of Norman that we can see on radar? All right, so you can see the sun starting to set. It's kind of an eerie image of just the haziness of clouds. You can see the sunset. It looks fairly calm now. Doesn't look like we're in a tornado warning, but we are. And do we have... We do see a lot of people out walking on the South Oval because it does look like a fairly nice day. However, we are in a tornado warning. Lowest level, most interior room of your home. Someone just needs to tell these people. We've gotten alerted on our phones. We've gotten multiple texts from the OU emergency alert system. I don't know why these students are still outside. Do we still have the crew on the parking garage with? We do not, so they are in shelter. That is good to know. So yes, the South Oval looks very pretty. Do not go outside, stay put, stay where you are. Let's go back to radar and see as we have those storms coming into the area. So you can see more starting to get those very strong storms down to Southmore High School, into Newcastle. Hunter, do we have any more confirmation on the Newcastle area with the tornado warning?
They just say it's cycling.
Okay.
So that's why we're seeing the shear rate kind of go up and down with the storm.
So nothing on the ground yet?
No.
All right, so nothing on the ground yet, but do not get caught off guard. It can come down at any moment possible. So once again, lowest level, most interior room of your home as these strong cells start to come into Norman. Very strong rain coming down, torrential downpours possible, and there's still more to the south of us, moving to the northeast as well. Cole, it is right on your doorstep of some torrential rain. I know Cole got destroyed with a tornado earlier this year, and we can start to see another kind of inflow notch with this severe thunderstorm. We're going to have to monitor that one as well, as it is possible. We have back-to-back tornado warnings for tonight. Looking at velocity, it doesn't look like anything right now. Definitely something we want to watch as we go on throughout the day. And if we can go back a little bit south near the Rush Springs storm, if possible. Do we need to switch radars if possible, Hunter? So this also is tornado warned now. So if you are north of Rush Springs, south of Ninnekah, you need to get in your shelter. Moore, Norman, also be in your shelter right now if possible. Lowest level, most interior room of your home. Get off the roads. Do not sit under an overpass. That is the worst place you can be right now. It doesn't look, we haven't seen any radar indicated hail. That is a good thing, but very strong winds are coming through the area. So once again, this is not a one and done type of thing. We have warning, warning, warning throughout south central Oklahoma for this evening. So I'm going to take a step back just so you can kind of take it all in and realize these cells are all within the same line and continuing to move northeast. If we can kind of do a future track on this entire line if possible, and just to give everyone an idea towards the Shawnee, Pink, Tecumseh area for later tonight. All right, thank you, Hunter. All right, so Cole, 7:59, Riverwind Casino, 8 o'clock. The city of Alex, 8:04. The OU campus, 8:05. Lloyd Noble Center, 8:07. So this, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to start hearing rain come down right above us. You can see Washington 816, the National Weather Center 808. The National Weather Center, I do not believe, is in the tornado warning as they are in South Campus, so they have not sheltered yet. However, the National Weather Center is also a tornado shelter for students that live off campus, such as the Ave apartments. They can quickly go there to take shelter, but right now we do not need to be on the roads. We should have had our plan in place earlier today. But once again, this entire line of storms is going to continue to move through south central Oklahoma for the next hour and a half. It is not done yet. And so once again, I'm going to take a step back just so you can kind of take it all in. And do we have anything else, Chloe or Hunter or Coy?
Peyton, I don't think we have much more to pass along. If we can take campus cam, it's starting to get a little more eerie looking. The traffic has kind of stopped on the South Oval control room whenever we could possibly take that. But that area of rotation, we're still watching, almost moving due east, so impacting the west and north sides of Norman that we're continuing to watch, as well as the other storms you mentioned down the line. But you're live looking over the Van Vliet Oval right now on OU Norman's campus South Oval, as locals call it. You can see the flowers, our live picture, some clouds starting to come in view as the storm moves through the area. Peyton?
Yeah, you can see that those clouds, you can see almost like the blue sky is peeking through the quiet before the storm, but this is a very eerie view. I still see someone walking along the South Oval. They need to get inside here in Gaylord College. We are safe. The studio that we are currently in acts as a storm shelter, so we are good to go. But once again, not as many people on the South Oval, which is a good thing to see. People must be in that shelter. But if we can go back to the radar view that does show the OU campus, Hunter. Thank you. So we can start to see a few pop-up showers just north of Lindsay. Once again, South Campus is not in the warning, but Lindsay going into Main, Robinson, Rock Creek Road, and Indian Hills Road, that is where this tornado warning is in effect. I know much of eastern Norman did get hit earlier this year. However, it does not look like that area is included in this warning, but we can start to see more showers continue to pop up on radar that we are going to watch. And if we can go back to that shear rate, Hunter, to see if anything else has changed. Okay, so it actually looks like it isn't as organized anymore, which is a good sign, but still something we need to watch. So you can see that it's only like the top area, the entire bottom half is gone. Hunter, do we have any updates on that?
They are going to continue the tornado warning, but it is now, still radar indicated for Cleveland and McLean until 8:15. That is still moving northeast at 25 miles per hour, capable of producing a tornado near Newcastle.
Okay. So once again, this is not on the ground. It was radar indicated. We're still continuing to watch it because over the last few scans, it got really organized and then it started to fall apart as it began to cross the river. But that does not mean it can regain strength eventually. So the warning here in Norman does continue through at least 8:15 tonight. You can see Southmore High School is included in this. A lot of the Norman area high schools, Moore area high schools are included in this. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning down by Dibble, and that area of rotation does look like it's increasing just a little bit. If we can go to velocity on that if possible. All right, so on velocity, it doesn't look as impressive. We can still see a little bit of red with that green, but nothing really tight to show us that anything is on the ground.
They are going to issue a new tornado warning for the Stibble storm.
Oh, so a tornado warning for the Stibble storm is coming?
Yes.
Okay, so once again, we have a tornado warning in Norman. We're going to have a tornado warning that includes Blanchard, Cole, Middleburg, Dibble, down to Woody Chapel. And we also have a tornado warning even south of this going into the Rush Springs area. So like I said, this isn't a one and done type of thing. Bam, bam, bam. We have three in a consecutive line that the same line of cells is continuing to move northeast. If we can go back to reflectivity, if possible, just so people can see how strong this area of storms is. Thank you. So from Moore all the way down to Ninnekah, we have severe storms coming into the area. Strong winds, very large hail possible. We haven't seen hail yet, only about an inch size by some reports. But again, tornado warnings just all over the map. The different colors, red tornado warning, yellow severe thunderstorm warning, but we do have a tornado warning coming for this cell down to Rush Springs. The purple is a indicated tornado, and the red is another tornado warning. So this entire line of storms is continuing to move through central Oklahoma up I-35. I know a lot of people are either going home to Dallas as their finals are over. Stay put, stay in your storm shelter. You don't need to go home to the DFW area right now. You can wait until tomorrow. I promise you, it is not worth driving in any situation like this. And I'm going to take a step away just so you can take it all in. So we do have a video from moments ago from, I don't exactly know where on campus, just outside Gaylord College, actually, just looking up at that cell that is moving through. Once again, this is the tornado warned storm looking west down Lindsay Street. You can see this is exactly where that campus cam points. And we have phones going off once again of that extended tornado warning. So it looks a little eerie right now, but I want to keep in mind we have storms coming.
Tornado warning for Goldsby, Cole, and this also includes and overlaps with Norman and OU campus.
All right, Hunter, control room, if we can go back to Barron and if we can take a look at that new tornado warning, and if we can zoom in on the Norman campus here at OU, I can hear the sirens going off outside once again. Okay, so the entire Norman campus up North Campus by Max Westheimer Airport down to Highway 9 at the National Weather Center. We are in a tornado warning. So the National Weather Service down at the Weather Center, they are going to evacuate and let another weather office take over for the time being so they can get to shelter as well. But the Lloyd Noble Center, the dorms, Walker, Cross, Headington, Dunham, Walker, Couch, they're all in a warning now. So Walker and Couch do have that corresponding storm shelter at the bottom floor. Cross also has storm shelters, so do Headington and Dunham. But Highway 9 up to Lindsay, Boyd, Maine, Robinson, Tecumseh, in the tornado warning, you need to get to your shelter, lowest level, most interior room of your home as this very strong line of storms begins to come into the area. And you can see it stretches up to Lake Stanley Draper, down through Slaughterville, into Lexington East. Norman, nothing yet on radar, but you can see Riverwind Casino's starting to get that little bit of sprinkles down to Goldsby. And looking at that shear rate, we can see that that Newcastle shear, it's still not as strong as we saw earlier, but we're not going to keep our guard down with that. Down near Dibble, you can start to see that rotation as well. And even near Alex, even more rotation possible. Chloe and Hunter, do you have anything else?
Yes, so continuing to emphasize that this tornado warning is coming from that area of rotation from Dibble going up to Goldsby. This overlaps with the tornado warning a little further north. So there are technically two tornado warnings on OU Norman campus. That's why you just got those emergency alerts. But we're keeping track of that rotation just around Dibble moving northeast right now. That's pretty much all we have over here right now. Back to you, Peyton.
All right, so like I had expressed earlier, down from Highway 9 up into Rhodes into Moore, we do have a recent photo into the OU Nightly newsroom from Tecumseh Road. If we're able to take that of the lowering happening, you can just see how low this area is to the ground and how dark these clouds are. So once again, a majority of Norman and Moore is in this warning. Lowest level, most interior room of your home. I cannot stress this enough. Do not leave your pets out. Bring your pets into the shelter as well. If we can go back to radar, Hunter. So like I said, Tecumseh Road is up here. They are looking west into this area of rotation. And do we have any hail indicated yet, Hunter?
There's no hail indicated on our products right now, but we are getting reports of radar indicated hail, 1.75 inches for this new tornado warning out of Dibble. Okay, so that has increased from earlier where we had about an inch reported. We now have 1 3/4 inch reported. That is even larger. That is getting into that golf ball, potential baseball size possible. That is severely large hail, and that can do some damage, especially if it hits you or does cause harm to you. So once again, very strong storms coming into the Norman area. We are not under one tornado warning here at OU, but we are under two. They are continuing to overlap, so this entire line is going to continue to move northeast through central Oklahoma. If we can go north of the Oklahoma City metro and see if anything is happening. Okay,
So it does look like this one cell that's kind of been trucking along and we've been keeping an eye on lately is still continuing to look a little bit impressive. We can go to the shear rate on that if possible. Okay, we have a little bit of commotion right there. Nothing too strong right now, but something we might keep an eye on because earlier it was out by Kingfisher in the Guthrie area, and this one lone cell continues to do something. But going back south, that is where the main thing is going on. We can see here in Norman, it's starting to get more circular looking again. And if we can zoom in a little bit more on that and put a future track on, as it crosses the river, again, Norman, you need to be in your storm shelter, more in your storm shelter. Sooner Mall, it's coming down on you right now. Max Westheimer Airport within the next 10 minutes. OU within the next 15 minutes. Westmore High School 8:31. Moore 8:40. Moore High School 8:43. Small town of Franklin 9:04. So we're starting to see these cells a little slow down just a tad, which means more rain, more chance for that tornado to potentially come down and cause damage. So I'm going to take a step back real quick so we can take it all in. If we can go back to radar if possible. Great. So yes. So I'm going to have OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo come back in real quick.
Yes, that's right. So we've got 2 active tornado warnings and that 1 confirmed tornado warning down in Rush Springs. I'm going to take a closer look at the one that is overlapping. Let's take a zoomed in look at OU campus right now. Once again, I want to emphasize the fact that Norman specifically and OU campus is overlapped with 2 tornado warnings. So 2 areas of rotation are possible with these 2 storm systems that are rotating with these storms. So Norman North High School, Norman and OU campus, you need to get into your shelter immediately. As Peyton mentioned earlier, get your tornado precautions as fast as you possibly can. Earlier we said that Riverwind just barely missed the tornado warning from earlier, but now we have this tornado warning a little further south. So Riverwind Casino, if you're in that region right off of and just south of Highway 9, right where Highway 9 and Highway I-35 intersect, or Interstate 35, intersect. That's where you're going to want to make sure that you are staying indoors and getting into your shelter as quickly as you possibly can. Let's zoom down, go a little further south and see this area of rotation over by Dibble. Let's zoom into this just a hair to see what kind of streets we're seeing. So Cole, you are getting lots of rain going on right now. Let's go to velocity and see where this rotation is, because sometimes it's a little tricky on radar when it's rain wrapped. Sometimes we can see that curvature or that hook echoes, like what we like to call it, on radar. Sometimes it's easier to see, but when we have that rain and it's rain wrapped, it's a little trickier to see on radar. So let's take a look at this. You can see a little bit of that rotation right here. Once again, the red going away from the radar and the green going towards the radar. So different directions with these wind speeds and wind gusts. So that's what we're seeing with that rotation just around Dibble. So 240th Street, that's a road that if you are close to this, to 50th Buffalo Creek Road, if you are around this region, you're going to want to seek shelter immediately with this rotation. It's not a confirmed tornado, but that rotation could drop down at any given moment. Let's zoom out and take a look at the rotation a little further north at that other tornado warning. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So this is a little more widespread. Let's zoom in a little bit. It just passed through Newcastle. So before it was a little bit tighter. It was probably about this big, and now it's a little bit bigger around. So which is really good because it's a little less organized. But we still have those stronger winds. So those brighter and more opaque colors are what we're seeing when we see like stronger winds with that. So whether it is rotation or straight line winds, that's something you're still going to want to keep track of. Let's do a storm track real quick to see how quickly it's going to get to Southmore High School. And yes, we'll do a storm track real quick to see what's going on here. So Sooner Mall, 8:15 p.m., Norman High School, 8:22 p.m. So there are a lot of neighborhoods and housing additions around Norman High School, or Norman North High School, excuse me. So that if you are in those neighborhoods close to Norman North High, you're going to want to get into your shelter immediately. This is still a tornado warning, an active tornado warning. Moore, 8:46, Moore High School, 8:48, and Franklin, 8:51. So get into your safe space immediately. Let's take a look at campus one more time on reflectivity, see what's going on and see how close it is. Okay, so rain is about to start on campus. You can see Lindsay Street right here, Boyd Street. You can also see Porter Avenue right up here and North Flood Avenue. So if you're close to these areas, I know a lot of students live north of campus. There are a lot of housing additions north of campus and around Main Street. So if you're close to Main Street or West Robinson Street, you can even see East Interstate Drive over here. You're starting to see some rainfall with this. You are still under not just one, but 2 tornado warnings from 2 separate areas of rotation. So let's zoom out completely so we can see those 2 areas of rotation. Zoom out just a hair more. Thank you so much. And go back to reflectivity if that's a possibility. Thank you so much. Awesome. So yeah, once again, 2 areas of rotation, 2 tornado warnings that are overlapping with one another. So not only are there 2 areas that you need to be looking out for if you're at OU or in the Norman area, you also have 2 strong areas of rotation, but they're also very widespread with that rain. So they're rain wrapped. So if you're trying to go outdoors, which to begin with, oh, excuse me, the lights are going out. I don't know if the power's going out or not right in the area, but I wouldn't be surprised with this storm system beginning to push onto campus, as that's where we are right now. But once again, these 2 tornadoes or potential tornadoes are rain wrapped. So these areas of rotation, you can't see them. So if you're trying to go outdoors to see them, please don't. Please do not. Please stay inside into the furthest interior room and on the first floor. That is one thing that you should be doing. Avoid windows.
We have a new tornado warning for Grady and McLean counties until 8:45. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Alex, moving east at 20.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Hunter. Do you think you can zoom down, go down a little bit south to see that warning? Thank you very much. Awesome, Bradley, Alex, you guys are in this new tornado warning right in this region, this area of rotation. So now, not only do we have 2 tornado warnings up north over by Norman and OU campus, but we also have another tornado warning over by Bradley and Alex. So get into your safe space if you're a little further down south. This is also extending. This could go towards Payne, so Woody Chapel, Washington. If you guys are not in your safe space right now, this is heading towards you, and you're going to want to get into your safe space as quickly as you possibly can. Yes, Coy?
I just wanted to pass along that tornado warning for northern Cleveland County from Moore to Newcastle in North Norman has dropped off, but it does still continue for the southern parts of Norman with that more southern tornado warning. So if you go see that on radar, you can see the northern red polygon dropped off, but we're still watching those like 3 areas of rotation, or 2 areas now of rotation south of the Norman area, but we're still included. So you still need to be taking your tornado precautions on campus.
Thank you so much, Coy. Yes, so just as Coy had said, this tornado warning a little further north around Newcastle and Moore has since expired, and they have taken that down, which thankfully you can see this area right here. That rotation was a little bit wider as we saw earlier, so it was a little less organized. So therefore it was not rotation that was classified strong enough for a tornado warning. Let's take a look at this one though. Cole, Dibble, Goldsby, Slaughterville, even Norman, you guys are not out of the clear with this storm system yet. There's a little bit of rotation right here. You can see that curvature right here, that curving inwards, which is just a hair. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So we actually have some video coming in control room. Oh, okay. Yes, just in a few moments. We are having some technical difficulties with that. So we'll just keep looking at this. Cole and Dibble, you are still in this zone. Washington, this is pretty much a direct a direct path towards Washington and Goldsby. Let's take a storm track starting from Dibble all the way up to here and see what's going on and see how quickly it'll be entering into this region up to the northeastern portions of this warning. So Cole 828, Washington 837, Goldsby 844. So it is currently, excuse me, what time is it? Currently 8:17. So 8:28 in about 10 minutes, Cole, you will be seeing this rotation pretty soon here. So if you are a part of this storm track or of these times at any point, Slaughterville 9 p.m., McGuire 9:07 p.m. So make sure that you are getting into your safe place as much as you possibly can. I believe we're ready to see this new footage coming from the control room.
We have a brand new tornado warning for Cleveland and McLean counties until 9 p.m. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over southern Oklahoma City or 7 miles southeast of Will Rogers Airport, moving northeast at 15.
Okay, thank you so much.
That is this new polygon up here.
Perfect. Let's go up. Okay, perfect. That's great. So yeah, we have a little bit more rotation with this. Let's take a look at our velocity to see what kind of rotation we've got. Okay, so it started to strengthen back up a little bit. You can see it's a little disorganized, but just enough to see any type of rotation. Okay, here we go. We can see those winds beginning to peak up. You have the winds going away and winds going towards. So you can see that area of rotation right there, that little circle right there going on. So that is perfect, making sense. All right, so we actually do have our sirens going off. I just heard from our partners at OU Nightly that our sirens are going off on campus right now. We haven't heard the emergency alerts again, but we do have some sirens going off. And just earlier, students were taking their finals, and now they're taking breaks to get into their safe space on campus. So that's really important to do. Here's our shear rate with this. My goodness, this is a pretty strong zone right here. You can see it's starting to circulate as it goes. Let's go ahead and loop this and see what's going on. So, okay, thank you so much. So it's beginning to loop right here, starting to widen right there. So let's take a loop at our reflectivity once more and see if this lines up. Yep, so here's the problem with this. You can see it on the shear rate, but you can't really see it on reflectivity. That's because, once again, I can't stress this enough, this thing is rain wrapped, so you can't see it. Visibility is very low, but what we can see is some footage. I believe that we're ready to see some from the control room if we can get that pulled up right away. So, awesome. Okay, so let's take a look. This is near Lindsay Street and Flood Avenue. So this is one of the areas potentially of rotation. You can see the clouds are starting to drop, getting much lower. So this is really clear footage because, I mean, it's still light outside, so you can see the clouds pretty well in areas that aren't being covered by that rain. So this is a really defined footage compared to what we could be seeing. So going back to radar, you can see more is starting to become, or more is actually in the middle of it right now, starting to see a lot of heavy rainfall. Franklin, you're about to get a part of this. Let's take a storm track to see what time Franklin will start to see storms. Super quick. Once again, Norman is starting to see that rain and those storms associated with this. So it's starting to take an eastward track. So more 824. Let's see. Excuse me, Norman 829, Franklin 845. So Franklin, if you are not in your safe space, get indoors now, get into your interior room on the first floor, if not a basement, as quickly as you possibly can. Denver at 854, Stella 906, Pink over there at 919. So this is coming up pretty close within the next hour. These storms will begin to move out and further east of campus, but it's about to overlap right over campus. Let's zoom into campus one more time to see what's going on. It looks like we're starting to see some stronger storms here and there begin to pop up. So I'm sure you're hearing that loud thunder and lightning over by Sooner Mall and off of Interstate Drive over by the OU Airport over here. This is where the Target and the Crest grocery store is. Yes. perfect. Let's take a look at our campus cam. Let's full screen that real quick. You can see this tornado warned area. You can see the clouds begin to lower. This is, my goodness, this is an insane view. Right from the South Oval, you're seeing it here first. This is right over by the South Oval on the OU campus. Oh, we even saw a little bit of lightning out there. Those clouds are beginning to lower. Yes, Coy?
Chloe, I just want to jump in where we're watching this area of rotation near the Franklin Road area in North Norman along I-35 north of Max Westheimer Airport. That's where that rotation that you see on your screen right now, the live picture over the South Oval right now. So if we pop on shear rate, we can see that, and Chloe can point that out, but that's what the general direction that we're looking. Again, North Norman, north of Tecumseh Road in the Franklin Road area near Interstate 35. So no travel advised on Interstate 35, pretty much from near Purcell all the way up to Moore.
Yes, thank you very much, Coy, for that update. Yes, so those are where our clouds are lowering. Let's go back to our radar and look at that shear rate over there by Franklin Road, over by the airport in North Norman. Thank you very much. If we can go back. Awesome. So shear rate right here, you can see it is pretty significant, and that's what we just saw from the OU campus. Our campus cam is right off of Lindsay Street, and it was a straight shot of those clouds right there. They were lowering, and you could even see them rotating right there. This is a strong area of shear right here. So Franklin Road, South Broadway Street, if you are around this region, Southeast 34th Street. We also see East Indian Hills Road. These are different roads that you're going to want to be cautious of. Yes.
Yes, so we're getting unconfirmed reports from our partners at the National Weather Service that a spotter on the ground saw a brief tornado touchdown in that area. No debris was observed, but the circulation was on the ground. Again, unconfirmed reports from the National Weather Service with this storm that we're tracking.
That's the one over by the airport?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, yes.
Chloe, we also want to remind students that OU has sent out another alert within the past few minutes telling them to remain in their shelter. This is a very dangerous situation as the storm approaches the Norman area.
Yes, absolutely. Stay within your building. Stay in a firm, solid foundation, permanent home with this. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Once again, just as Coy and Peyton were mentioning earlier, this right here is what we're seeing in real life here. And a certified storm spotter from the National Weather Service saw a brief spin up, a brief touchdown with this tornado. So although it may not be on the ground as it stands, it has at one point before, or at least that was spotted or witnessed at one point. So regardless of it, whether it's on the ground right now or not, treat it as it is and make sure that you are inside and in your shelter, because this is really close. This is really close and could happen within seconds. Let's actually go down to the one near Cole, because we see quite a bit of shear with this one as well. So we've got two going on right here. So quite a bit of shear going on. So Buffalo Creek Road, right in the city, right in the heart of Cole, West Chestnut Road, and State Highway 748. That's where you're going to see this area of rotation. If you're along these streets or around these areas, if you are in Cole in general, this is where you're going to want to take shelter immediately. Once again, you can see this area of rotation. Once again, the red is going one way and the green is going the next. So that area of rotation is definitely circulating. Let's go ahead and loop this to see it moving as well with this. Okay. So you can kind of see it begin to rotate with the radar as well. Even though it's pretty pixelated, you can kind of tell as it's moving, it is rotating and it's slowly starting to tighten. Like you can see the colors begin to become a little more opaque and a little more bright, and they're also becoming closer together. Let's take a look at our campus cam. Let's actually take a full screen of this real quick just to get a glimpse, because we could see a really close view. Reminder, this is the rotating storm north of campus that a weather spotter from the National Weather Service at one point, the National Weather Service has had a weather spotter witness this as a brief touchdown at one point. So let's take a look at our radar once more before we look at another tidbit of footage. So let's go back to our radar real quick.
Chloe, I just wanted to pass along that we are seeing that new area of circulation develop that's live on our campus cam right now. And we also have a flood advisory for the South Oklahoma City Metro because of this heavy rain that's moving through. So we're probably going to see Norman, those low spots, those low-lying areas, what would be Lindsay Street, Flood Avenue, Asp Avenue, Jenkins Avenue start to collect some water. So travel, again, not advised because we're under the tornado warning, but flooding potential as well.
Thank you very much, Coy. Yes, so the flooding has become more of a prominent issue than we had anticipated beforehand with these rain-wrapped storms. So you can also see on campus cam still that is a rotating storm and the clouds are beginning to lower. But just as Coy said before, we have a flood advisory. So we have risks for flooding south of Norman. This also includes the OU campus because, as you know, Flood Street really speaks to the name itself, is very prone to flooding as well. Let's take a look at our reflectivity real quick and see what kind of rain we're expecting to see. And if we can full screen to the radar, that would be great too. Thank you so much. Awesome. So Norman, we've got lots of widespread rain, and a little goes a long way on campus. Those types of roads, Boyd Street, Lindsay Street, flood. Once again, speaks to the name, flood, so very prone to flooding. So we're seeing a lot of rainfall that is continuing to accumulate in the Norman area and just south of Norman. This is a lot of rain over here, over by Riverwind Casino. Let's zoom in a little bit over here towards Riverwind, along the I-35 interstate. So lots of rain going on with this, lots of heavy rain going on, but we still have that rotation around the coal region. So here's our shear rate with that. Very significant. We also have that shear rate up here. Let's zoom into the one a little further north, north of campus, over by Southmore High School. Thank you very much. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm not entirely familiar with the street signs over here, or the minor streets. Thank you very much. So Indian Hills Road, Southeast 34th, Southeast 149th Street, State Highway 77H. You are all in the area of this shear, which is the area of rotation, all right over here. And as mentioned before, this storm was spotted as a brief touchdown at one point. So it may not be on the ground right now, but you want to treat it as so and make sure that you are indoors and in your tornado shelter as quickly as you possibly can. There's a little bit of shear down here as well along North Flood Avenue. Let's go down south to our other area of shear. Look at our street view. Yes, thank you very much. So over by North Flood Avenue, North Porter Avenue as well. So here's Highway 77 and West Tecumseh Road. This is where you're seeing this area right here is where they're about to see this other area of shear. So another area of rotation with this as well. Let's zoom out and go back to reflectivity real quick. Once again, I can't stress enough that we have lots of rain with this. So once again, any type of rotation will be a rain-wrapped storm at any point. So let's go back to our campus cam and go to a full screen if we possibly can. So we're starting to get a lot of rain on campus. You can see the sidewalks are shimmering because the rain is starting to pour, and we can see a bit of lightning here and there. Now, Coy, do we have any new updates?
I just think these storms have lowerings. I don't know if they're on the ground, but we should treat them as they're on the ground because those storm bases are very low. The pictures and video that we're getting in, I mean, on the campus cam, you could see that, like, we call it a rear flake downdraft. We could kind of show that on reflectivity. If we put Chloe on reflectivity there and zoom in, you can see where the storm kind of wraps around that precipitation and kind of gust out the winds with the power of the storm. It's what we call a rear flake downdraft. And the tornado forms in that general area, but there can also be a strong gust of straight line winds associated with that area of circulation.
Yes, thank you very much, Coy. Yes.
Also, Chloe, we want to point out that looking at the OG&E website, we can see that 10,000 people are without power right now. That just jumped from a few seconds ago where we didn't really have any power outages. And again, we still have students that had final exams scheduled for 7:30 tonight. They are still in shelter. They have not left the building they are in. They really don't know what the plan for their final exam is going forward.
Thank you very much for that update. Yes. Did you say 10,000 people are without
Yes,
power?
10,400.
Oh, my Lanta, that is a lot of people without power from this storm. So a very strong storm, strong lines of storms, rotating storms, but a lot of rain and thunder associated with this. You even saw in our campus cam as we were speaking just in the past couple of moments that you noticed probably a couple of strikes of lightning. You can even see it right there.
Hey, Chloe, can we get to the Cole storm? So if you are in Cole right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. I know they probably have some storm anxiety after a couple weeks ago, but this storm is bearing very close. The velocity has tightened up just a little bit, and I don't know if we're starting to detect debris just yet. We need another radar scan, but that's what we are continuing to watch and monitor. So people near Cole along State Highway 74B, I was just down there a couple days ago to look at the damage to see how the cleanup was going. So right along that highway, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, Goldsby, and then eventually Noble as this thing continues to track in the northeast vicinity. But these storms have been cycling, moving left, moving right, and no rhyme or reason to what they're doing this afternoon and evening.
Very true. Very, very true. I couldn't have said it any better. I understand that this could be a very traumatic event after what happened in Cole just a couple months prior or a couple weeks prior. So Cole and Goldsby, you guys are under that tornado warning. So just making sure that you guys are in your storm shelter as quickly as possible with this. State Highway 748, excuse me, South Main Avenue, also known as State Highway 74, with this West Center Road over by Goldsby. You guys are all in this area that are in the path of this area of rotation. So not a confirmed tornado, but once again, we want to treat it as so and make sure that you are in your safe space as quickly as possible. Once again, with this rotation, this velocity, the red is going away from the radar, the green is going towards the radar, and that's what is giving us and showing us that it is indicative of that rotation. Let's take a little look further south.
Can we stay on that storm? Because if we go back, sorry, Hunter, can we prop on debris detector? Because I think we are starting to get a lowered return there that possibly is indicative of a tornado on the ground.
Possibly. We've got a couple of areas. So usually when we see those solid colors within this pixelated region, and we see little pockets of blue right here, or pockets of colors that's essentially stand out. That's where our debris detector comes in, and we start to see the potential of a spin up here and there, picking things up off the ground. So this is around the Cole region. So there's a possibility that this has lowered, if not touched down at some point, whether it was only for a couple of moments and lifted back up. So once again, it's going up and down at this point. So this is what we want to be very careful of. So here's a little area right here that we could potentially see as rotation. This, I believe, is right where that area of velocity was. Keeping this in mind, let's go back to that velocity. Keeping this in mind with these streets. Yep, you can see the rotation went right through that circle right there. This is a little further ahead in terms of time. So that rotation just past that region. So May Avenue, Portland Avenue. So this is where we've seen a little bit of potentially, if any, spin up or any brief touchdown, it would have been in this zone right here, right now. So there's that rotation. Once again, it's starting to tighten up a little bit. Let's loop this actually and see if it has been tightening even further. Yeah, looks like it has been tightening up just quite a bit. So now, real quick, we're going to go ahead and shift gears, and we have a new footage from Main Street here in Norman, and we're going to go see that video real quick. Control room, if we can go ahead and get that set up momentarily.
Chloe,
Oh, excuse me. So sorry.
yeah, we're getting reports of power flashes with that Cole storm. Obviously, this video we're getting in, you can talk over that, but power flashes in Cole.
Thank you so much. Yes, power flashes near Cole. Here is a live look near Gaylord College, actually where we are currently. That rain is beginning to come down. If you can notice, it's a little ominous out there. You know, it's a little on the green side, and that's what we see when we see those chances those chances for storms. Let's take a look at our campus cam right now. Very rainy. We've got a lot of lightning out here. You can see the clouds off in the back. Earlier we were able to see those clouds begin to lower, and now we can't see them as much because, once again, the lower visibility with more rain, that's what's becoming more and more prominent. So you can see those clouds are a little less visible at this point. You can see a couple of clouds right here, and behind that the light behind there. So once again, a very ominous view. So let's go back to our radar, check on coal once again, and be looking on, or be on the lookout for that. So here on radar, you can even see the curve right here, or the hook echo is what we like to call it right here. That is curving in and rotating. So you can see it on radar, which yeah, we can see it on radar right there, so it's not as rain wrapped as some of the other areas of rotation. So this is, I believe this is a confirmed tornado now based.
It is a confirmed tornado located near Cole, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Observed hail 1 inch in diameter.
Okay, so we've got observed hail. This is very dangerous. Stay away from windows, get into your storm shelter. This is a confirmed tornado. You can see the rotating portion of this reflectivity right here. Let's go to our shear rate super quick. We're just gonna do some analysis on this and see what's going on. So you can see the shear rate right here. It is a solid circle right over here. Solid area of shear. Let's go over to our velocity and see what's going on. Thank you very much. Okay, so once again, you can see that area of rotation, the red going away, green going towards. So that is a rotating storm and a confirmed tornado. So zooming in, we're at State Highway 74B. South Main Avenue, 260th Street, 250th Street is a little further south, so it might miss you just by a hair. West Chestnut Road, however, and right into Goldsby. This is where this confirmed tornado is, and that is where it is moving. So if you're in Goldsby, get into your safe space and get into your shelter now. Let's look at our debris detector real quick.
Yes, there are multiple reports of an observed tornado in Cole currently.
Okay, thank you. Yes, a confirmed tornado, and we've had multiple people observe this in person, just as Peyton mentioned. So we have some areas of this debris detector over here. Awesome, thank you. So we have a debris detector right here, so you can start to see those colors begin to pick up. This is not good. This is not good. This is when we're seeing that confirmed tornado on the ground, potentially carrying that debris, and it's picking up on radar at that point, so you can start to see that right there. Let's compare this to velocity. Let's go back real quick. Thank you. Yep, so right over here is where we're seeing that area of rotation and that confirmed tornado just east of Pennsylvania Avenue. If you are along Chestnut Road, 290th Street, West Center Road, South Main Avenue, along Goldsby, get into your shelter right now as soon as you possibly can. This is very imperative. This is important because this is a confirmed tornado and could be a very dangerous situation. Let's go back to our reflectivity and look at this real quick. Okay, so you can still see it, that hook feature right here. So it's starting to turn into here. Let's go ahead and loop this real quick if we can, Hunter. Thank you very much. So you can start to see it curve as it's moving. So it's kind of like scooping in. You can kind of see that on the radar. And if you saw a long time lapse of this, you could see it rotating even quicker. So this, once again, I cannot stress this enough, a confirmed tornado in Cole as it stands right now. Let's go ahead and take a look just real quick and make sure that we're not neglecting the storm up north and see what's going on around Norman. Let's look at our shear rate with this and see what's going on.
I think it's important to note that this confirmed tornado on the ground, this is one of the warnings the OU campus is in here in Norman, has the potential of moving into our area. So to emphasize once again, looking at that campus cam, lots of lightning everywhere. Students need to be in their shelter. Do not come out just because right now you think you're fine. You are not. Stay put where you are, lowest level, most interior room of your building.
Yes, and I also want to mention that this storm, just like Peyton said, that this could enter in the Norman region, but specifically South Norman, and a lot of upperclassmen live south of Norman. So here is Highway 9 right here. This is 77 right here. So this intersection right here, this is where the Ave is. This is where, if you go a little further north, that's where Escalating Norman and the Collective is. So those storms, or those that area of rotation, that track is going right along with that path. So once again, a confirmed tornado heading towards Goldsby and eventually crossing the river. Norman has, okay, awesome. So Norman has released another warning on, I believe, on the text messages. Is that right?
Emergency alert at 8:41 p.m. just reminding students to stay where they are, stay in their shelter. And we really want to emphasize Cole has been hit earlier this year, and so has south of Highway 9 in Norman, like in those student apartments you had mentioned, especially the Ave. Lots of students live there off campus. I have many friends that live there, even at the Collective, even at Red Point Norman. So those students, even though those apartment complexes do not have tornado shelters, they still need to get to the lowest level, most interior room of their home.
Yes, thank you very much, Peyton. This is a place where a lot of students live, a lot of students, including myself. Here is an extended look at that confirmed tornado warning from this confirmed tornado just passing through Cole. Real quick, this is extended until 9:30 p.m. Real quick, Hunter, how fast is this storm moving? If you know, if not, that's just completely fine. Is moving towards Goldsby. It looks like it's moving pretty quickly. I just don't have a way of seeing that on radar specifically.
The sirens going off once again here on campus as that tornado warning has been extended to 9:30 here in Norman.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so we have this new confirmed tornado warning. Once again, this is actually moving really quickly. You can see that hook feature right there. This is a confirmed tornado moving towards Goldsby and heading towards south of Norman, south of Highway 9 right here. Here's I-35, here's I-35 right along here. And then you can see this more populated area. That's where campus and downtown Norman is. So this may be a little further north in this track, but we're really watching out for this track right here down to Goldsby. Let's zoom in towards Goldsby and look at these street views right here. West Center Road, State Highway 74 along this line, South Main Avenue, 280th Street. If you guys, East Center Road even, if you guys are along these streets right here, are living in these areas, take shelter now. This is a confirmed and dangerous tornado. Let's look at our velocity and see what's going on. Looks like it was kind of breaking down just a smidge. Let's take a look at our looping of this. So go ahead and play this if possible. Okay, yes, so we're gonna actually take a photo from Cole, from the control room, and see what's going on. Oh, you can see it right there, that area of lowering. You see all these clouds are lowering where this wall cloud is right here, but you can see this area right here is where it's lowering towards the ground, and this is a confirmed tornado. And this photo right here, you may not see, may look like a little gap right there, but as you get closer to it, it is definitely a confirmed tornado issued by our partners at the National Weather Service. Once again, I'm going to step out of the way just so you guys can look at this and see the importance of this tornado. On the ground, a confirmed tornado near Cole heading towards Goldsby. I cannot emphasize this enough. Get into your safe space as quickly as you possibly can with this tornado. It is a confirmed tornado. Here is the rotation. The translation of that on radar, you can see it is rotating right here. And you can even see that translate onto our reflectivity. You can see that hook right there, our hook echo. We'll go ahead and pause this real quick if that's okay, Hunter. Thank you so much. So this is going right towards Goldsby, moving northeast. This is also heading south towards campus. So for the viewers that are just recently tuning in, this is south of Norman, or this is expected to go south of Norman. So there are a lot of housing additions and apartment complexes in South Norman, including the Ave, Escalating Norman, Red Point, the Collective, the list goes on. So there's a lot of housing over there. So you're going to want to take your precautionary measures as quickly as you possibly can. With this confirmed tornado heading towards Goldsby right now, let's take a look at our shear rate with this tornado. Okay, so it is pretty stout, pretty strong. Okay, let's take video from this. We have some video from the control room to see what's going on near Cole, heading towards Goldsby. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way of this. Okay, excuse me, this is near Main Street here in Norman, so lots of rain going on and just having some technical difficulties right now. But here is our shear once again looking towards Goldsby. I'm going to hand it off to our OU Nightly meteorologist, Peyton Gallion. She's going to give us the latest updates. Peyton, what are you seeing?
Well, right now we are looking at a video of that tornado down in Cole. Once again, a confirmed tornado on the ground. And once again, we have said that this tornado warning has been extended. It still does include the Norman campus, much of the Norman area, a lengthy way of Highway 9 out to Lake Thunderbird, pretty much the entire Norman city limits going out to 180th Street. You can see just how strong this circulation is south of Goldsby, east of Cole. And Hunter, if we can once again zoom in on the Norman campus, I cannot emphasize this enough. Students, stay put in your shelter. Do not leave where you are. I know a lot of students live off campus. It's Thursday of finals week. We're almost there, so we need to stay put in our storm shelter. I mean, all along here, these are student housing. We need to stay where we are. Do not go outside and take pictures and videos of the storms, even though we are showing you that your safety is the #1 concern. And you can start to see that shear pop up just by the LNC. Yes, Coy?
We have a confirmed tornado like we've been mentioning, but is now showing up on our debris detector. If we can take that, and it looks like it's headed for, again, Goldsby and then eventually South Norman. So you need to be taking your tornado precaution in the areas that were closely affected by the February 26th tornado, as well as anywhere in South Norman. If you live near the National Weather Center, along Highway 9, north of Highway 9 a couple miles, south of Highway 9 down towards Noble, and in the Goldsby area, get to shelter now. This thing is on the ground and it's headed in your direction.
Yes, like Coy said multiple times this semester alone, this area, especially south of Highway 9 going northeast into Norman, has been hit. I feel for the people down in Cole, and especially you can see OU in this frame. So you need to once again stay where you are. Take the precaution. We can see with our debris detector, there is a tornado on the ground, and debris can become harmful and dangerous. If we can go back to the reflectivity with this same camera angle, this is exactly where we have that notch. You can see the rotation as it continues to, we're going to take a look at the campus cam, I believe. Okay, we're not going to go to the campus cam, my bad, just again, once again, technical difficulties tonight, but you can see 280th Street is going to 35. You can see much of 35. This storm is going to cross 35 soon. Do not pull over on the side of the road and sit under an overpass. If you can at all possible, go south. I know there's more storms to the south, but we need to be careful in this situation. This is a confirmed tornado moving into Noble along Classen 77th. Again, we have student apartments all in this general area in this warning. Again, I cannot continue to stress this enough for anyone near the OU campus. Now we're going to take a look at that campus cam just to see what it looks like outside right now, if at all possible. Control room, I know it was down just a minute ago, probably having some weather technical difficulties as this enters Norman. And just look how dark it has gotten within the last 30 minutes or so that I have been on here. We can see the rain is coming down, the immense lots of lightning occurring. This is not a safe situation for anyone to be outside. Earlier, we saw those people walking around. Thankfully, they are in their storm shelter now. Students that were supposed to be taking their final exams, they're continuing to stay in their storm shelter. We are okay here at Gaylord Hall. Our studio acts as a storm shelter. And once again, lightning is just flashing the sky, taking control of everything. If we can go back to that radar once again for that Norman view. And if at all possible, Hunter, can we do a time lapse on that as well? Yes, Chloe?
pull. It is confirmed on the ground again and going strong. And our partners at the National Weather Service have warned the towns of Goldsby and Noble and saying that they should be sheltering ahead of the cold tornado as soon as possible.
So yes, Goldsby right here, it is knocking on your door. It's going to be there within minutes as it continues northeast into the Noble area. This is when students are going to start being affected. The National Weather Center just in under 15 minutes, 9:07. The Lloyd Noble Center, 9:08. The small town of Denver, 9:45. In the Lake Thunderbird area, 9:48. So as this cell continues to hold on, it's going to make its way through East Norman that once again got hit hard back in February with that EF2 tornado. But we can just see through multiple loops of this radar, we can see exactly where this tornado is. I cannot stress this enough to any students or anyone in this area watching us right now. You need to be in your safe place. You need to be underground, most interior room of your home. I know it is a very frightening thing. A lot of people have severe storm anxiety. We are trying not to scare you, just help you and prepare you in any way possible because this does not look pretty at all. Hunter, can we go to the velocity real quick? Yes, Chloe?
Real quick, our partners at the National Weather Service have also reported circulation just southeast of Tinker Air Force Base.
Okay.
Just keeping that in mind in addition to covering this Goldsby tornado.
Yes. So this isn't the only one we have, tornado we have. Currently, we have multiple tornado warnings across the metro. We can see up near Newalla, Stella, back into Moore. We can see that North Norman has finally gotten out of these tornado warnings, but we can see how much of this area is still impacted. We have our radar right here in this area. That's where we can start getting a little bit of feedback issues, but I promise you it is still raining in this area, still an area we need to watch. Oklahoma City, you are fine for right now. Much of the severe stuff has moved past you. Same with OCCC, Newcastle, but anyone west or east of I-35, my bad, I am so sorry, needs to be weather aware, especially once again down near Norman, Riverwind Casino, down to Goldsby. If we can go back to that cell once again, Hunter, just want to keep everyone in knowing the latest information. Yes.
Can we go to our debris detector? We're starting to see a little bit more significant of a bit of a debris ball over by Goldsby. This is from that confirmed tornado. So we're going to keep our eye on this. And our partners at the National Weather Service are also emphasizing southeastern Norman over by Highway 9. We want to make sure that we're staying aware with that as well because that is looking like a direct path.
Yes. Once again, this is following a similar path from back in February. Once again, try not to scare everyone, but this is something we need to watch as it continues tracking northeastward. The National Weather Center is right here, right by Jimmy Austin Golf Club, right by the Lloyd Noble Center, up to the South Oval, North Oval, main campus, Norman. You are under the gun once again. Stay in those storm shelters. We're continuing to get alerts sent out through the OU emergency alert system, and that is going to just emphasize to our students how serious of a situation this is because this debris ball, this means a tornado is on the ground picking up debris, destroying things in its path, and that is not always a good idea. Can we go back to the reflectivity real quick and just get an overview? I'm going to step out of frame real quick just so we can all highlight everything that is going on. And so we can start to see a few cells start to develop down along east of I-35, east of the Payne and Lexington area. Right now, no severe threat with them, but going back to our tornado warnings, once again, we have some north, we have some central, and we have, once again, one east of Ninnekah near the town of Alex. The same storm system is continuing to push northeastward into Norman, Lake Thunderbird, Pink, and eventually back to the Shawnee area. I hate to say that once again. These areas have continued to be hit this year. Can we zoom back into the Goldsby, Norman area just to emphasize and stress this once again? Rain is beginning to come down here as you go down Classen to Highway 9, right near that on-cue that got hit earlier this year. And if we can do a time track on this cell as it makes its way through the area, Hunter, if at all possible.
confirmed tornado was located near Goldsby, and that's nothing new. That's what we've been continuing to see. But it's moving north at 10 miles per hour. So two things to note about this. One, it is taking a little bit of a northern shift, and two, it is moving 10 miles an hour. That is a rather slow path. So if we can go back to the debris detector to see what's going on. So when you have that rotation and that confirmed tornado moving at such a slow pace, that causes more damage. So let's see what's going on in the debris detector.
It looks like it's kind of broadened out. There's not any tight debris like we had seen the past few scans, which is a good thing, but it also could be going through regeneration processes and could eventually come back down to the ground. But again, with that northern shift, this happened earlier this year, and this is something we want to keep an eye on because the OU campus is not very far from Goldsby at all and where this indicated tornado is. So let's go back to velocity real quick to see if that's showing anything different. Okay, so we can see the different shades of red and green. So we're going to quickly go to Goldsby. We do have a photo into our newsroom of that confirmed tornado, and you can see this isn't just a tiny little rope tornado. This is a significantly larger tornado confirmed on the ground southwest of Goldsby. So I can emphasize enough, this is coming to the Norman OU campus. Stay in your shelter. We are not kidding around when we say a tornado is on the ground, sadly impacting people's lives and property as we speak. So going back to our radar, just to continue to emphasize, we can see the different colors of going away and towards the radar of that circulation of the tornado continuing to make its way through our viewing area. So going back to reflectivity, Hunter, we can see it's right here in this inflow notch and continuing to move northeast and making that northward shift at 10 miles an hour. Earlier, these storms were moving at 30, then we got down to about 25, 15. Now we're down to 10. That is when this cell is getting all the great favorable environments to continue its strength, potentially getting bigger, maybe even weakening in cases. But however, it's making that northern shift. Once again, I want to emphasize student housing is right here. We can have the dorms, we have off-campus apartments all throughout this area. And looking at the south oval once again off in your corner, you can see it's still lightning. There's torrential downpours coming down on campus. And so we want to continue to stress, stay in your storm shelter. I know this has happened multiple times this year, and it can be anxiety-inducing for a lot of people. We are trying not to scare you, but this is a very dangerous situation as it makes its way into our area. The OU campus just sits right here, just about 10 miles north of this storm. Yes, Chloe?
Emphasize is that there are still 4 other tornado warnings that are active right now. So we do have this confirmed tornado that is heading towards South Norman. That is very dangerous. But we also want to take a look at the 2 tornado warnings near Moore, a little further north. There was some rotation spotted and radar indicated from our partners at the National Weather Service. There was also 2 tornado warnings a little further south, if we can take a quick look at those.
All right, so this is our radar right there. That does not mean these showers are diminishing. They're just getting weird feedback right now. But I had mentioned these storms earlier right now to the east of I-35. Those are continuing to reach portions of southern Oklahoma. If we can zoom in on those, if at all possible. The Stillwater area also getting some storms, nothing severe with them associated yet, but we do have this another tornado warning east of Wayne making its way near Kanawha. We can see that it is also moving northeast. This expires at 9:30 as well, along with this tornado warning here in Norman. Now, has this tornado warning down near Alex expired? Yes, it has expired. Okay, so we were watching that earlier and it was on again, off again with tornado warnings as it continued in this line. Having that expired is always a good thing. Those tornado warnings in more as well with this same line of storms. And I believe we have another image into our newsroom, control room. Can we take that if possible? All right. So this is in Cole. We can see that rain hitting the camera and you can just see this large tornado in its funnel continuing to come down. I believe this is another area of rotation that it looks like it was trying to as well, but you can see that dust begin to spin up. That means we have that confirmation on the ground, and the radar is anything but calm right now. There's just colors everywhere. Tornado warning, tornado warning, tornado warning. This is not a calm night in the state of Oklahoma. We have parts of southern Oklahoma in the warning. We have central Oklahoma in the warning. That includes a large student population during finals week and few days before graduations on Saturday and commencement tomorrow night. So zooming back into this very dangerous situation in Goldsby. Again, lots of students are going to be impacted with this area. Do we have any more information on this cell, Chloe or Hunter?
I'll jump in. I think we're seeing a new area of rotation. The one that was like beelining for Goldsby kind of like sputtered out and stopped. And we have that new area of rotation developing a little further east right along the river, I think, right now. So that's kind of where our attention is focusing between Highway 9 and Noble.
Okay. So once again, this is the river, and you can see where that area of strengthening is occurring. And we want to highlight Highway 9 is right here. Right here is the on-cue that was hit earlier this year. We have apartments all right here. We have the Ave, we have a light 12th, we have a Red Point, we have multiple student housing resources right here. We also have the dorms not too far from this, National Weather Center, Lloyd Noble Center, the Storm Prediction Center. It's all in this tiny little area. Everything is so jam-packed together in areas that need to be on alert for right now, because if we go back to radar, the rain is continuing to come down. Right here, that's where we have that new area of rotation. You can see it is pouring here on campus. I'm surprised I don't hear it above me on our roof, but looking at the campus cam, rain is coming down. There is lightning everywhere, and it's going to continue to move northeast towards the Lake Thunderbird area. We can see with every new radar scan, it's continuing to slowly move. But once again, the Noble area, Highway 9 area, in Norman, you need to be in your storm shelter. If you don't have a storm shelter, the lowest level, most interior room of your home, like a closet, a laundry room that is away from doors and windows, because this is a very dangerous situation. Is this still confirmed on the ground, or is this that new area that we have no confirmation yet?
Confirmation if it has risen at that point or lifted at this point, but we will say that the velocity looks like it's a little bit on the weaker side. So if it's still on the ground, it is much weaker than it was as it was passing through Goldsby.
Yes, just looking at it, it looks like a very smaller area. You can see it's going to be right here crossing, I believe this is 77th going into Noble. So this is once again a very serious situation. We want to stress enough that everyone needs to be in their storm shelters, because eventually if this continues its strength, we're going to eventually see it cross Highway 9 once again. And I know parts of East Norman were impacted earlier this year. If y'all have any more reports, continue to spit them out, because this tornado warning continues into the one going into more.
Can you hear me? Okay. I think this area is going right over Noble. So if you are in Noble, this storm is like almost right over the town of Noble. If we zoom it in, Noble should appear eventually when we zoom it in. There
Yes,
it
right
goes.
there.
So that circulation very close to the town of Noble, just south of Norman. So you need to be taking your tornado shelter in that area.
Yes, and we have about right here, I believe, is Cobblestone Creek Golf Course. It is a short 9-hole golf course. There's lots of houses in that area. Just up the road, there is student housing. I'm pretty sure getting these outer bands of very strong winds. We could have some wind damage associated with this. But right here, we can just see it's starting to get a little bit tighter here just north of our Noble icon as it crosses 77th in Noble. Anything else, Hunter, from the National Weather Service that we know of?
Nothing new from the National Weather Service. I'm going to take over real quick on this, but
Okay.
looking at our shear rate, it is starting to pick up a little bit. It was kind of dissipating at one point, but as it's crossing the river, it is starting to pick up, and this is right over Noble at this point. A little further north, you can see that is right where Highway 9 is, just a couple miles north.
This is Highway 9.
Yes. So all I want to say is that shear rate is getting a little bit on the stronger side.
Yes, especially this is where we're going to see that tornado if it is on the ground. And if we go back right here west of the OU campus, if you can go back to the shear rate real quick, I'm seeing something just west of campus. Is anyone else looking at that? Chloe, do y'all see anything else on radar y'all are looking at?
Yes, we are looking. I'm looking at a different radar off our main barren screen that's behind Peyton, the terminal Doppler radar site out of Oklahoma City, that is not showing up, that area of shear rate in the Norman vicinity.
Okay.
The thing that is showing up is that Noble storm tightening up. And if we go back to reflectivity, you can really start to see, and zoom out a little bit, you can really see that hook form, that hook echo
wow.
formation right near Noble. And usually the tornado's on the north side of that hook echo. So near Noble right now, crossing US 77, then eventually the Highway 9 corridor near Lake Thunderbird. So if you live in Norman, again, East Norman and South Norman, take shelter now.
Yes, this is almost like a textbook definition hook echo, that you can see that inflow and coming out. That is where that tornado is. If we switch back to shear or velocity, right where that circle is where you're going to see that tornado. Yep, that is right where the shear is, crossing into Noble right now as it crosses the river. And you can just see on velocity, it's beginning to get strong once again. And if we zoom out as a whole, okay, we are having some technical difficulties right now, but that is okay. We can see the Norman campus is still in the tornado warning for this area. Going back to reflectivity, if we can at all possible, that hook from just a further out view, you can see still torrential downpours in Norman across Highway 9. Anything else y'all would like to add real quick?
So this shear rate is what we're really looking out for, but also with this track, we're seeing well over 10,000 people without power along this track from the Goldsby region, extending all the way up to South Norman into Noble. So really if you look at the map of the power outages, it really lines up very well with this confirmed tornado and where it has touched down on. So lots of people are without power. We just had that flash right there. I don't know if that was a technical difficulty or a power flash, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a power flash here. So that's what Norman is starting to see as well. So that's what we're seeing over here. Back to you.
Yeah, just with the technical difficulty, we did have our monitors kind of flash. Don't know if that was a power flash we are associated with. A lot of people are continuing to see those power flashes and get without power. I believe we have a few photos and videos from the Norman area control room. If we can go ahead and take it, I believe near 12th and Boyd, if I heard that correctly. All right, but on the good side, that shear rate looks like it's starting to come down. So that is always a good sign. And we got the video and we're going to look. So this is 12th and Boyd of just the strong rain bands coming down. Norman is no stranger to flooding, I'm sure we are all aware of. So with these very high intense rainfall rates of multiple inches coming an hour, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some street flooding, especially Lindsay, Jenkins, the back roads that a lot of students live on around the campus. Do we have any more images in the area or control room? Is that it? As we take another look at this inflow notch, you can see it doesn't look as strong and definite, but still, we need to watch this. This is still a tornado warning. Going back to shear, if we can, Hunter, thank you. It is diminishing. That is always a good sign. We can see that is still a little bit of bright green color, but we aren't seeing as much as that red. So this area of rotation does seem like it's coming to an end, which is always a good sign, or it could be redeveloping like we saw earlier. The velocity still, you can see those bright green colors next to the bright red areas. So velocity still shows that area of rotation is occurring. And if we can take a look at the tornado warning that is southeast of Norman, if at all possible, because once again, this is not the only tornado warning in the state ongoing. It's going to be for this wide area. So this is kind of where our radar starts to get a little finicky, being further away. But taking a look at this cell, it's going to be in this general area by Winnett, Asher, north of Byers. You can see that it's going to continue to push northeastern. Kanawha just outside of the tornado warning, going into Bowlegs. And Seminole, yes, if this continues, you are in the path. So if we can put a future track on this cell, if at all possible, for our friends in eastern Oklahoma. This is kind of the border of the National Weather Service Norman and National Weather Service Tulsa area. So things start to get a little bit confusing in this area. So we can see that Asher 9:31 and we can see Maud at 10:03. So within the next 45 minutes, that's when you're going to start getting into this area. How fast is this particular storm moving, if we know real quick?
Well, last we heard this storm was actually moving on the slower side, around 10 miles per hour or so. But I do want to give you a quick update on the shear rate right here in the area of rotation in general. That is where a Noble school district is. Specifically, excuse me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but the Curtis Ing Middle School is right where this area of rotation is, if not a confirmed tornado. So that is one thing to keep in mind.
So a minute ago, we did see that this area of shear was weakening. However, we can see that it re-strengthened, which I did say was a possibility. So this is Southeast 36th Avenue, south of Highway 9, just in the city of Noble. You can see this is North 8th Street. This is an area you need to be in your storm shelter. And I want to emphasize that the OU campus is going to be out of this tornado warning right now. So the Weather Center is right here. The Lloyd Noble Center is right here. The Oval right here on Lindsay Street. We are okay. Our main focus is going to be here in Noble. You can see just in the last scan how large this shear rate began. So as we continue to move near, I can't read sideways. So as it continues to move south of Highway 9, going to East Polk Road, Post Oak Road, East Etowah Road, East Cedar Lane. The Walmart's going to be right here, so this is southeast of it. So it's continuing to move northeast. Is it still moving north, or is it back to the northeast?
Moving northeast as of right now.
Okay.
One thing that we want to keep in mind as well is this is pretty much in a direct path to Lake Thunderbird. So if you're in that region living around there, East Norman, this is where you're going to want to get into your shelter now. Basically 2 minutes ago is when you're going to want to be in your storm shelter with this area of rotation, if not a confirmed tornado.
All right, and it looks like once again we are having technical difficulties. Okay, we got our graphics back, but again, these storms, they can diminish, they can pop up. We are experiencing with it just like you are. So that shear rate is continuing to expand. Is there any way we can zoom in on that area, Hunter, at all? So, okay, it's going to be south of East Cedar Lane, and it's going to be north of McGuire Road. This is about, I believe, a couple mile stretch as this continues to move northeast. You can see Highway 9 is right here, and I know just north of Highway 9 between 36th and 48th, that area did get hit significantly back in February with that EF2 tornado. But taking a break from this area, I know it's the dangerous situation we want to talk about. It has moved away from the OU campus, so we're going to take a step back, and we're going to go look north and to see what is happening kind of east of the Moore area by Lake Stanley Draper. We can see there's a little bit of shear coming up east north of Stella, but going back to reflectivity, if we can, this is right where our radar is. Is there any way we can switch to not the KTLX radar, if we can go to a national radar, if possible, just to get a better view? As we take another look at the campus cam really quick, there is still, we can go ahead and put it full screen, control room, if you can. It is still continuing to rain here on campus. It is continuing to have lightning strikes. I know this isn't the best radar possible, but it's continuing to come down in this area. So once again, this is just southeast of Tinker. This includes north of Franklin area. So we do have video from Bricktown from earlier from one of our OU Nightly members. If we can go ahead and show that control room. I'm not entirely sure what it entails, if it's rain, if it's lightning, of looking back into the area. So it is this storm we can see in Bricktown. This lightning is just incredible. You can see how strong and prominent these bolts are. You can see it's basically lighting up the sky. There is not a second that goes by there's no lightning in sight. And you can see the winds are very strong as well. You can see this American flag continuing to flap around. Okay, so if we want to go back to radar, just taking a look at the OKC area, they are good. Everything has moved out. It's kind of southeast of the OKC metro. If we go down a little bit south, we had that tornado warning near Alex earlier. It has expired, but I still want to prominent that Norman, we're not done yet. We're still watching this area southwest of Norman as it continues to move northeast into our area. Yes, Chloe?
Real quick, this confirmed tornado in Noble is taking a little bit of a shift north instead of northeast. So a little bit more on the north-northeast trend. So East Norman, Highway State 9, around the 84th Avenue, Southeast Road. So where that intersects, it is really about to cross Highway 9. So if you can zoom in on there just real quick.
Yeah, if we can zoom in on that real quick, we can go ahead and go full screen with the radar just so we can see these small roads. So once again, this is 48th Avenue, this is 60th Avenue with that north turn. You can see Lindsay Street right here. Here's that Highland Hills neighborhood I had mentioned earlier that did get hit with that EF2 tornado. I know a lot of people did sadly lose their homes. And in East Norman, there are people that live on land. There's lots of trees out there. There are very nice homes that were impacted the past few months, and that is taking that northerly shift. We can see that shear rate. It's continuing to move to the Lake Thunderbird area. You can see these winds are getting strong near Lindsay Street as we go out into East Norman. Do we still have any hail not being detected on our radars at all, or any hail reports coming in? I know we had some 1-inch hail earlier. Okay, we do. All right. So we do have some possible hail. This isn't very large hail, but still something that can do a little bit of damage. And it looked like as the storm crossed the river, that is when we kind of lost that threat. But overall, nothing big, which is great for your cars, might I add. But it's always great that we did have that significant hail threat earlier, and it's not producing as much as we saw, but we did have that significant tornado threat that sadly is producing. If we can go back to velocity real quick, Hunter, and we can see where that tornado is, just by East Cedar Lane, East Post Oak Road. It's going to be east of Noble, again, as it approaches Highway 9. As it continues to go north, we can go back to reflectivity just so everyone can take a look at what is going on and what we're looking at real quick. All right, so you can see these very strong rain bands are continuing to come through, kind of getting a break here on campus, here at OU and at Main Street in Norman. Just a little bit of lighter showers now, but this is very strong rain bands are continuing to come down. It almost looks like it's losing that inflow, which can be a good sign. It can also be a bad sign. So again, if you are south of East Cedar Lane, north of East Post Oak Road, that is where we're going to see that tornado as it makes its way north of Highway 9. With that last radar scan, we can see it's just about 2 miles or a mile south of Highway 9. This is a very heavily traveled highway day in, day out. I commute on this road every single day. It is very heavily traveled, and in this area it is very dark. It's going to be very dark outside right now, but the good thing looks like how I said that it's losing that inflow notch. It is losing that heavily shear rate. We can still see some very strong winds within the area, but Chloe and Coy, do you have anything about if this is going through a regeneration process or anything like that?
Yeah, so as of right now, it looks like it's starting to dissipate, which is a really good sign.
Always good.
Yes, always good for sure. As it crossed Highway 9, from our point of view, it looks like it was starting to decrease, but we're also getting some word in right this second, actually, that some spotters are seeing that it may be trying to drop again, possibly. So at this point, once again, this is a roller coaster where we see tightening rotation and then it begins to dissipate a little bit and on and on. So we have weather spotters out from our partners at the National Weather Service, not from OU, but definitely from the National Weather Service, giving us the latest updates on what they're seeing. So here's a look at our reflectivity right here. We've got some rotation. Once again, we're going to emphasize on that. That is just crossing Highway 9 over here. Let's take a quick look at this tornado warning down here and see what's going on. Taking a quick look, if we could go to velocity real quick to see this, Hunter. Thank you very much. So looks like it's very disorganized, which is really, really good for this in this case. You can see a little bit of rotation right here, just north of Johnsonville. You can see that red and that green circulating, but once again, incredibly disorganized with this. Let's go ahead and go to our shear rate and see what's going on over here. Okay, so not a whole lot going on, which is really, really good. We only have 2 little specks right here. So this tornado warning, how long is this tornado warning in effect for, if you know by chance?
It is going
until 9:30.
9:30.
Okay, it is currently 9:20, so this has got about 10 minutes left. So if you are in Pearson or Chisholm, if you're in this area in general, you're going to want to make sure that you're continuing to stay in your storm shelter, but I can see this beginning to dissipate at any given moment. It's set to expire in 10 minutes, and I honestly, based on this track, I don't see it continuing any further. Let's go back to the Noble tornado and see what's going on with this in terms of our reflectivity. reflectivity. Let's see what's going on. So once again, lots of rain going on with this. As we head into the evening hours, we're having some power flashes going on here once again. We had an update just a few moments ago that about 10,000 people were out of power actually along this line. Right around here, starting at Goldsby, going up to South Norman. A lot of people are out of power at the moment. Do we have any current reports on that? Are we still around 10,000?
Nearly 12,000 now, so it's increased just a little bit.
Yikes. Okay, nearly 12,000 people without power just from this powerful storm and this tornado. So I don't believe it's currently on the ground right now, but it was confirmed and on the ground for quite some time. Went through Cole, went through Goldsby, and now going through Noble, about to cross, if it hasn't already, it's going to cross State Highway 9. So let's go ahead and take it to our debris detector to see what's going on, to see if anything. Let's zoom in a little bit right here.
We have another OU Norman alert, this time saying the tornado warning has ended, but lightning and localized flooding continue. Exercise caution.
Okay, this is really good news. This is amazing. So our tornado warning has subsided and moved out of our region. So you can see OU campus is right here, the Lode Noble Center. Here's Highway 9, Lindsay Street, Gaylord College, where we are, is actually right there. So we are out of that dangerous zone. So we're just going to be seeing some thunder and lightning with this. So I mean, you're still not going to want to be outside with this. It's also dark outside, so we've got a lot of lightning associated with this storm system. So nothing too much, nothing really impressive on the debris detector. Here's our shear rate beginning to unfortunately pick up a little bit, is what it's looking like right here. Once again, let's go ahead and loop this and see what's going on. Beginning. So at one point, if you notice, it's picked up around as it crossed 77 and South Main Street around Noble, and then it dissipated a little bit, and now we're seeing a little bit more as it's crossing State Highway 9. So let's hope it only stays this strong and just weakens from here at this point. So let's go to our velocity and see what's going on to see if that rotation has gotten any better. So it is a little disorganized compared to what we saw, which is really, really good. You can see it was probably the strongest around here in the Noble zone, or the Noble region, excuse me. So it's a little more disorganized around East Cedar Lane Road, crossing State Highway 9, which once again is a really good sign. So let's take a little bit of a wider look, a zoomed out look of what's going on with our reflectivity. See if anything else is going on, or is this the last thing that we're keeping in mind? Looks like we only have 2 active tornado warnings, the one that's about to expire at 9:30 in about 6 minutes. Yeah, 5.5 minutes or so. And then this confirmed tornado at one point, but it is no longer on the ground unless we've had any new updates with that. Have you guys heard anything new about that tornado? Okay, awesome, thank you. No news is good news in this case, right? So last we heard, it was just a rotating storm, so not on the ground, which is really good news. So once this storm system pushes off to the east, Norman will be in the clear, and the OKC Metro is actually already in the clear for the most part. So OKC, if Edmond, any further north, you are pretty much in the clear, and any west of Tuttle, El Reno, Chickasha, you guys are pretty much in the clear at this point. Let's zoom into Noble and see the update on this real quick. So once again, you can still see that hook feature right here, that area of rotation. So not a confirmed tornado right now. Let's go back to our shear rate and see if that's increased at all. Okay, so we're not seeing any red, which is a really good sign. But once again, I can't emphasize this enough. Lake Thunderbird. If you are in this area, East Norman, McGuire, if you guys are in this polygon of any sort, please be sure to stay into your shelters until this tornado warning has fully expired, and that's when you can exit your tornado shelter. But do we just...
Tornado warning for the trailing storms south and southwest of Norman. If we can take a look at reflectivity going back and seeing just how strong those storms are continuing to come into the area.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is in effect until 10:15 p.m. This is going towards Slaughterville, going in the, it looks like it's just south of Cole. Okay, let's go ahead and click on this one more time to see the information on this. So McLean County, you're a part of this tornado warning. It looks like Cleveland County is also a part of this tornado warning as well. Let's zoom in to the area of rotation and look at velocity and see how strong and see what we're talking about here. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky to identify when it's a little disorganized like this. I believe there might be a little bit of rotation right here. I can see a little bit of reds and a little bit of green. Let's go to our shear rate and see.
Another new tornado warning southeast of Norman by that Kanawha cell.
Southeast of Norman, okay. Oh, okay, I see it right here. Perfect, okay. Let's zoom into this real quick. We can see some shear with this one. So that began to pick up a little bit earlier. It was starting to dissipate. So over by Winnett, moving towards Asher, this little cell right here moving towards Pearson eventually. So let's go back to reflectivity on this one and see what's going on. Okay, so you can actually see this one right here, this hook echo, this hook feature right here. This is what we're going to be looking for. When we see this on our radar, this is what's really important and imperative to look out for. So Asher, Sacred Heart, Chisholm, Maxwell, Pearson, Ellaville, you guys are all in the path of this storm, so get into your shelter as soon as possible. Get into the furthest interior zone of your house on the first floor, if not a basement, if possible. So I believe, is this a new tornado warning?
Extended tornado warning.
Okay. This is from the Noble tornado, so it's no longer a confirmed tornado, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's now radar indicated until 10:15 for parts of Pottawatomie and Cleveland.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so once again, this area of rotation, it was a confirmed tornado. It started actually in Cole, so it's had quite a bit of fuel. Started in Cole, went to Goldsby, and then parts of Noble and South Norman. So now it's in southeastern Norman right now, heading towards Lake Thunderberg. So if you are in pink, even in Stella up here, you guys are in the path of this storm. It is a rotating storm, so no longer a confirmed tornado, which is good news, but still enough rotation, enough tight rotation to warrant an additional tornado warning. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings. I hope I didn't jinx it earlier when I said we only have 2. So now we've got this confirmed tornado warning and the extended one when or where pink is right off of Highway 9. Let's zoom in to the rotating storm in southeastern Norman and Noble. That's about to cross Highway 9. It looks like it took a little bit further east of a track because it still has yet to cross Highway 9. If not, it's pretty much just riding along Highway 9. Let's take a look at our shear rate with this one. Okay, so we can still see a little bit going on. So nothing as strong as it was before, nothing as tight as it was before. Earlier, probably in around this area right here is where they saw that tightest area of rotation in Noble. And then this is starting to dissipate a little bit, but once again, still enough rotation. Oh, there we go. So a little bit more strong rotation with that. So this is 84th Ave Southeast, East Cedar Lane Road. This is about to cross State Highway 9. If it tracks northeast, it looks like it's been taking a east track because it's been just south of Highway 9 for quite some time. So maybe it'll take a little bit of a track northeast. So if you are in pink, you're gonna need to take shelter immediately. Take shelter ASAP with this as soon as you possibly can. Let's look down over by Winnett and see that shear rate. Zoom in real quick here. Okay, so no red with this, which is really good, but still rotation nonetheless. So still something really important. Let's go to velocity with this, see what's going on. Okay, so we can still see some rotation with this. The red's going away. green's going towards the radar. So just based on the position of these colors right here, looks like once again it's a little more disorganized and looks like it could be weakening at this point, which is a good sign. But once again, like I mentioned earlier, with the rotation, it decreases, increases, and goes back and forth. It gets a little bit more energy here and there. It kind of acts like, think about how you run your car. You have lots of gasoline, and then as your tank gets lower, you run a little bit slower, and then you refill, and then you're good to go. So it's pretty much the same concept with this. It's got to refill a little bit. So let's zoom out and go back to that Norman storm and go to, if we can, let's go to our debris detector with this one. See if there's anything.
Chloe, we want to emphasize with these warnings that basically the entire stretch down from Cole and Dibble through Pink is all in a tornado warning, kind of the same area that's been under warning overnight. Slaughterville, Goldsby, Noble, East Norman. It's just an entire line. If we can go back to reflectivity, really just to show all those warnings and how, like we had said earlier, we are not done yet. The next supercell will impact Noble next 30 minutes, even if tornadic circulation doesn't impact town. Lightning will create danger for responders dealing with the tornado damage areas. Crews are going to be in the field in this area. That is from the National Weather Service. But once again, a very active radar in the same areas just keep getting hit again, and again.
Yes, thank you, Peyton. Yes, this is really, really important to note. You can see actually, this is one thing to note. This is a really, really like textbook perfect in a way rotation right there, area of rotation. And so we have 3 active tornado warnings right now. If you're tuning in at this point, there are 3 current tornado warnings in areas of rotation, none of which been confirmed, but we want to act as if they were and get into your safe space as quickly as possible. Let's go down to our Cole tornado warning over down by Dibble. Going into, let's zoom in just a hair closer, thank you. All right, so you can see this area. I believe this is the area of rotation. Once again, it's a little bit tricky when it's rain wrapped, and there is a lot of rain with this. So the curve and the rotation with this is a little trickier to spot. Also, it's a little weak than the rest. Oh, actually, let's take a look at the one a little over by Lake Thunderbird. So let's move north and east. This one has picked up a lot in the past couple of moments. So zooming into this real quick, this has strengthened quite a bit just south of Highway 9. This is 108th Southeast Avenue, Storm King Road right there, ironically enough, East Lindsay Street right there, Lake Thunderbird. If you are over in the Lake Thunderbird region, take shelter immediately, take cover now. This is imperative. This is some strong shear right here, strong rotation. Let's look at our debris signature and leave the radar right here, see what's going on. Okay, so I don't believe it is on the ground, but it is some mega tight rotation right here in this region, right here. So let's go to our velocity real quick and see what's going on with this. Okay, so you can kind of see this rotation right there.
We have a confirmed tornado at Highway 9 in 96th. So that is where you are pointing, and we can see the shear begin to strengthen up. If we can go back to that. Yep, that is where we're seeing the confirmed tornado.
That's it right there. There you go. 96th Avenue Southeast, State Highway 9, Balin Drive right here, Storm King Road, Vermilion Street. If you are in this region, this entire area right there, take shelter now. This has now been, as Peyton mentioned, a confirmed tornado once again. This is some strong shear right here, right over by Vermilion. You can see that yellow right there, actually, even on the stronger side. Take a look at let's go back to our velocity real quick and see what's going on with this. So if you are in this region over by Vermilion, over by the State Highway 9, it is right over 96th Avenue Southeast. This is about to cross, I believe that's 108th Avenue Southeast. That's where the area of rotation is, the biggest area of rotation is. So get into your safe space ASAP, as soon as you possibly can. With this in the furthest interior room in the first floor of your home, a bathroom will do, a closet will do, if not a storm shelter. So here's that area of rotation where that confirmed tornado is, State Highway 9. Let's zoom out and see if anything else is going on.
Looking at the shear, it is getting very strong, and to give people more of a localized idea, there is a Valero gas station right at 108th, right where Highway 9 goes down from 4 lanes each way down to 2 right as you get to the Wedding Chapel going east by the lake. So again, 108th, there's a Valero gas station right there that is always extremely busy and heavily traveled.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Peyton. Yes, I know we have a lot of OU students that live in Eastern Norman as well, so even living off campus. So with this tornado warning and this confirmed tornado, this is some strong shear that we have right here. Once again, a confirmed tornado. Let's loop this real quick and see where it's tracking. Is it tracking northeast still? Hunter, do you know?
It is moving northeast.
Northeast? Okay. So still moving northeast. Lake Thunderbird, you are in the direct path of this area. So if you live around Lake Thunderbird, get into your safe space now. Get into your safe space 2 minutes ago with this storm. You can see that confirmed tornado right there, those yellows, those much stronger areas of rotation. The shear rate is a lot stronger with those yellow little specks of yellow. So let's go to our reflectivity and see what's going on with this. Can we see it on radar? Is it rain wrapped? Oh, okay, so we can actually see it. We can see it pretty well, actually. Strong area of rotation right here. Well, now we can't see it too much anymore. You can see this real area right here. This is where our tornado is. Unfortunately, it does look rain wrapped. That's not confirmed, but based on what I'm seeing on radar, it's not as defined. So this could be rain wrapped. So once again, it's nighttime and it could be rain wrapped. So low visibility outdoors, get inside, better be safe. Then sorry, this is a potentially strong tornado heading towards Lake Thunderbird. Get into your safe space as soon as you possibly can. Do you guys have any other updates on this tornado?
Not on this tornado specifically, but we do have an aerial flood advisory for Cleveland and McLean counties in Oklahoma until 12:45 a.m.
Okay, so Cleveland County and McLean County, just a little further south, in risk for flooding. So we've got a lot of rain about to head towards Cleveland County, McLean County as well. And those are heavy bands of rain, or heavy swatches of rain right here. Just about to cross. You can see I-35 is right here. So you can see that's about to cross right there. So could be a significant chance for flooding, as Peyton mentioned earlier. Let's look real quick. Okay, so this is a confirmed tornado and they just updated that. Real quick, just a little guideline on our tornado warnings and the colors that we use. A red polygon indicates a tornado warning, radar indicated, and then with this purple, this is a confirmed tornado warning. So that means we have confirmed this tornado that is on the ground. Let's zoom into this one real quick. Looks like it's crossing Highway 9 as we speak. And let's see right here. Okay, yeah, so you can still see it right there. Once again, could possibly be rain wrapped since it's just like a blob. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe that. Just like a blob of rain right there crossing State Highway 9, and a tornado is embedded within that potentially. So let's go back to our shear rate to see what's going on. Okay, so it has weakened just a hair. It's still pretty strong and most likely still on the ground. We don't see that yellow in there, which is really good. It's a really good sign right there, thankfully. So you can see it's still crossing State Highway 9. Let's look at our velocity with this real quick. Okay, so we can still see that area of rotation. This could also be that the radar and where it's positioned, because it's not looking too promising right here, but based on our other models, we're seeing different stories with this as well. But you can still see the colors there. that area of rotation with this. Do we have any hail going on with this?
Observed 1-inch hail, and then a confirmed tornado was located over southeastern Norman near Lake Thunderbird, moving east at 15 miles an hour. So it's kind of picked up its pace just a little bit. It was at 10.
Okay, thank you very much. So it has picked up the pace a little bit. We've got some areas of hail reported and radar indicated. So this is where we could see hail. So we saw a little bit down over by Goldsby, crossing the river over here, just south of Norman. We've got two other little swatches of hail, but it looks like a little further down southeast. Can we see this storm system over here? Looks like we had some reported hail with this. Oh my goodness, we've got a lot of hail going on with this over by Woodnet and up to the north. We've got lots of radar indicated hail. Nothing reported. Is that correct? In this area?
Yeah, we have not seen any reports, but we are also watching that storm a little bit closer to our neck of the woods. Lightning and heavy rain moving into campus right now, I can tell you that, but no new reports from that storm near that southern storm that you're on.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got even more hail just southeast of Sacred Heart. This is over by Kanawha over here. We've got some more radar indicated hail. Mind you, this is not confirmed or observed hail in person, but many areas of hail right here. Let's actually go back to that confirmed tornado and see what's going on with our shear rate. See if that has dissipated anymore. Okay. Looks much better than it did before, which is what we were praying for. So right here, originally it was over here where that those reds and yellows were very prominent, and now we're seeing a little bit here and there, but much better than what we were seeing beforehand. So let's hope that this is on the tail end, but we'll knock on wood so I don't jinx it again. So let's go a little further southwest to that other tornado warning. So this one has begun to pick up a little bit. So we're beginning to see a little bit more shear with this one. Let's go to our velocity with this storm. So a little bit of rotation. It's either right here or right here. I can actually see it a little bit more right here, just north of Washington. Leaving it right here, let's go to our debris detector to see if anything has touched down. I don't believe we see anything as of right now, which is a good sign, for sure. Let's go back to our reflectivity on this. See what's going on. Okay, so you can kind of begin to see it wrap a little bit, but once again, not too much. This is not the strongest rotation we've seen all night, but still rotation nonetheless. My best advice to you is to treat this as a confirmed tornado. Get into your shelter and your safe space. If you're in this tornado warning in general, although this is radar indicated or spotted rotation, but not a spotted confirmed tornado, you're going to want to treat it as so and get into your safe space as quickly as you possibly can. Over by Washington, they are getting lots of rain and lots of storms along with this, and I'm sure there's quite a bit of wind speeds with this as well. Go back to the velocity real quick. Okay, so we see a little bit of winds going along with this, but that area of rotation is where we're seeing the main threat for this polygon. Let's go back to the Lake Thunderbird storm, see what's going on over there. We're kind of bouncing back and forth between three storms as it stands. Let's go to our reflectivity with this one. Awesome. So it's going over Lake Thunderbird right now. Let's go ahead and loop this and see what direction it's moving. Okay. So wow, look at the difference between that take and that take. It kind of dissipated as it went over Lake Thunderbird, which is really what we like to see. But Stella, you are not out of the clear. You're still under this confirmed tornado warning. This is where we saw that confirmed tornado. It looks like it has weakened since then as it has crossed paths with Lake Thunderbird. But Stella, Pink, still make sure that you are staying in your safe space. You're not out of the clear by any means quite yet. That just means we could be seeing the ends of this. We'll see if it picks up any more in the next few moments or so. Let's go back to that one tornado warning a little further southeast and see what's going on there.
Real quick on the tornado warning closer to Noble. We have radar indicated hail of 1.5 inches in diameter. We're going to extend the tornado warning until 10:15. And it's just saying a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Washington, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour.
Okay, and that's a Noble tornado? Mm-hmm. Okay,
That area once again.
Let's go back over here real quick, recap that real quick. So if I'm not mistaken, they are going to extend this tornado warning till 10:15. So that's another 30 minutes. So I hope you brought your snacks into that storm shelter because you're going to be in there for the next 30 minutes or so until we get the clear and the okay after this storm. So there's still some rotation with this. It's no longer a confirmed tornado, which is really good news, but we're still seeing that rotation. So it could change really quickly as we've seen quite a bit tonight. So in fact, you can actually see that has kind of increased a little bit here and there since the past couple of moments of what we've seen.
That's the one we just talked about.
Oh, this one right here?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so this one is increasing?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this one is strengthening. That was on me. I'm so sorry. But yes, this one is extended until 10:15 p.m. This one, when is this one, just for clarification, when is the Lake Thunderberg tornado? 10:15 as well? Okay, both of these are expected to expire by 10:15 p.m. Another 30 minutes, so quite some time with that. So this is just south of Goldsby, north of Washington. Let's zoom in a little bit even more to see where that area of rotation is. Excuse me, okay, so South Main Avenue right there, you're getting the heaviest bands of rain and storms right there. Looking at our velocity, we see a little bit of rotation along with this, along State Highway 74 to 40th Street, Sooner Avenue. You are in the path of this storm as well. If you're around this area, take shelter as soon as you possibly can if you haven't already. 250th Street, 260th Street, you guys are within that shear rate. So that's the area of rotation that we're actually looking at right now. State Highway 74B, you are just north of this main area of that shear rate. So mind you, this is the town of Washington, and just south of Goldsby is where we're seeing these areas of rotation. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Yes, Chloe, I'm going to jump in. I know the control room's probably laughing at me because I sound bad on the air. I assure you guys, the viewers, I feel better than I sound, but we are watching that storm again near Washington. It's directing towards the Noble area, and that has hail and lightning. So first responders on the scene, we have gotten reports of damage in Noble near Maine and Etowah. This storm is headed towards that general area, so they need to be taking shelter from the heavy rain up to $half size hail and the lightning moving into Noble as we speak. While they're looking at the damage, they need a shelter in place to let this storm pass and then assess all the damage from these storms.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's one thing that we need to keep a look on. Let's actually go to that area right now over by Noble where that potential for damage is. You can see that line of storms beginning to fire up right here, or not beginning, but it has been firing up for a long time, has a lot of energy with it. So very strong storms that we're expecting to see. Let's actually go to our shear rate right now and zoom out just a hair to see those two, recap real quick to see those two areas. Or actually there are three areas, there's 1, 2, and then 3. So let's actually recap this one real quick and see what's going on, just to get a glimpse, excuse me, the one further southeast, and then we're gonna put our focus a lot on the Lake Thunderberg tornado warning. So this one has dissipated quite a bit, a little bit of a speck of red right there, but not a whole lot. We're still gonna be watching that one though. If you guys wanna be able to keep an eye on that one, I'll be covering the Lake Thunderberg one right here. So let's zoom into this one real quick. Thank you very much. Okay, so that began to increase a little bit on the increase right here over the river, and then began to dissipate just a hair. Let's go ahead and loop this and see what's going on. Okay, so you can still see that right there. The shear rate is still prominent, still right there. So this has still been, once again, this was a confirmed tornado off and on. This is actually the tornado warning that has extended for a while. It started in Cole, went to Goldsby, then headed through the Noble region, and now it is around and north of Lake Thunderbird. So that's what we're really watching over by Little Axe over there as well. East Tecumseh Road, right over here. Get in your safe space, excuse me, if you are right over in this region. There are quite a few housing additions in East Norman over by Lake Thunderbird. So that's where you're going to want to make sure that you are staying cautious of this weather, staying indoors, and your for lowest interior room with this is like as much as you possibly can with this. Let's take a look at the one over by Washington real quick. See what's going on. Okay, so we're still seeing a little more widespread shear with this, a little bit on the increase. Let's go to our reflectivity and see what's going on. Okay, so we can see a little bit of a curve right here. This is a lot of rain. We had a couple of issues with flooding in Norman in both Cleveland County and McLean County as well. So this is just a huge area of rain along with these severe storms and areas of rotation. So let's go to our velocity and see the rotation with this. So from this point of view, it looks like there's a little bit of rotation right here going on. Just a hair of rotation. I don't believe this one has been confirmed by any means, but this is going to be in effect until 10:15 p.m. So we're going to be keeping that for the next 20 minutes or so, 23 minutes or so, until this tornado warning is expired. Let's go back to Lake Thunderbird and see what's going on. We're just jumping back and forth between the two, seeing what's going on right now. Okay, so we've got these areas of rotation just north of Lake Thunderbird. Stella, Pink, if you guys are in this area, you guys aren't out of the clear once again. You guys are still within this entire region of a tornado warning right here. This was a confirmed tornado, but has since weakened into just an area of rotation, but an area of strong rotation at that. So get into your safe space, treat it as a confirmed tornado as much as you possibly can. Lake Thunderbird, here is that rotation. Once again, we'll continue to see that rotation. Luckily, as we're heading into the evening hours, these are starting to push out of our viewing area quite a bit. Yes, Coy?
So we have reports of damage on the north sides of Washington near Walnut Creek Avenue. And then shear rates also starting to pick up with that storm as it looks like it's making a beeline for Noble. So Noble, I know there are people out assessing damage, but they need to be taking tornado shelter again as another area of circulation moves there.
Yes, thank you, Coy. Yes, so we've had some damage reports. Has this been reported as a confirmed tornado by any? Okay. All right, so regardless, it has caused damage, and that's what we're most concerned with. Let's take a look at our debris detector with this area right here, see what's going on. So maybe a little bit within this region. So we've seen quite a bit of damage reported with this. I'm sure we'll see even more as we head into the morning hours where it is daylight outside. Let's go back to our reflectivity with this storm. So you can see that area of rotation. Once again, we've got some rain. With this, we've actually got quite a bit of rain with this. Once again, we have a tornado warning and a confirmed tornado warning, but this confirmed tornado warning is no longer a confirmed tornado. It is just an area of stronger rotation. Do we still have that tornado warning southeast over by Anderson? Okay.
Yes, that one also expires at 10:15.
Okay. All of our tornadoes, because these tornado warnings are expiring at 10:15, if this continues on the decrease, we will be wrapping up around 10 p.m. with our live severe weather coverage, unless something else pops up or gets a little stronger. So we'll continue to look at this one real quick. Zoom into this and we'll go back to shear rate. See what's going on, see if it's strengthened by any means. Okay, looks like we have decreased quite a bit, which is what we like to see. is what we love to see. Actually, we're continuing to decrease with this. Let's go back up to Lake Thunderberg and see what's going on. So the shear overall looks like it's on the decrease, which is what we're loving to see, because I'm sure everyone is ready to get out of their storm shelters and, you know, head to bed. Honestly, it's getting pretty late tonight, so we've got that shear that we're looking out for right now. We also have this area over by Franklin, over on Westminster Road, and 84th Avenue Southeast over here as well. So those are our main areas of shear with this. Let's go back to our reflectivity and see what's going on. So, okay. We've got a lot of rain actually. Zoom into campus. I know we don't have much severe weather going on. We just have lots of rain and thunder and storms. If possible, control room, are we able to look at our campus cam right now? I know it's going to be a whole lot of darkness because it is dark outside and there's lots of rain and storms going on, but if that's a possibility, I'm going to step out of the view to give you guys a glimpse of this rain that's going on campus and just southeast of campus especially. Okay, awesome. So you can see a lot of rain going on, but you can also see it on campus over here. This is the South Oval. Lots of rain, lots of lightning, the whole 9 yards. Even though our severe threat is pretty much subsided and we are not expecting to see any more rotation or tornado warnings on campus, you're not going to want to be outside by any means. Yes?
We do want to emphasize we will be going off at 10 p.m. That's just our allotted time. We are allowed. So in these last few minutes, I just want to say that the watch will probably be extended for a little while. I know it expires at 11 p.m. just because these storms are still producing and still severe. That looks like it is going to be the case. And that Noble storm is still something we are keeping an eye on.
Yes, yes, very much so. Yes, so unfortunately we're not able to go past 10 p.m., past our allotted time. So that's why you're going to want to keep up to date with your radar, with your alert notifications, your emergency alerts, your local news stations as well, with these warnings, keeping you guys updated with these. So just stay aware, stay with your phone, charge all of your devices. You charge your laptop, iPad, iPhone, Android, whatever your phone may be. Just go ahead and get all of that charged up so you can keep this updated throughout the evening hours. So once again, we have this tornado warning right here, a tornado warning. This extends from Cleveland County all the way down to a bit of McLean County over by Washington, Goldsby, Slaughterville, and McGuire, Willowview as well. That shear rate is weakening though, thankfully. Let's go back over to our east and see that other tornado warning right here. So these are the three.
The confirmed tornado warning has been canceled for Cleveland County and Pottawatomie County.
Okay, that is great news. So this purple polygon right here, this was a confirmed tornado warning. That has been canceled. So we only have 2 areas of concern of these 2 tornado warnings, but based on the trend that we've seen in the past 5-10 minutes or so, I don't see those extending by any means based on the rotation that we are seeing. So we've got this red polygon and red polygon right here off to our west into Cleveland County and McLean County. This one will update here in a second. This one is the one that will be canceled pretty soon here, but that includes Pink and Lake Thunderberg, so you guys should be in the clear. Now, make sure you're staying up to date as you head into the later evening and tonight overnight hours with these storms. You'll still hear some thunder boomers here and there, but aside from that, the severe threat or the main severe threat is out of the way. Be sure to stay tuned with OU Nightly. It is storm season after all, so we'll have potentially more areas of storms. So make sure you're staying up to date, but we're going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. We'll see ya. Good night.